Oh, baby, you got what I need. Oh, we're live. The Warriors say you're your friend. I can't make that up. Who can? I don't know, dude. I'm giddy right now, man. Ever since Jimmy Butler got here, it's a whole new story. It's a whole new season. The Golden State Warriors victorious again. That was a hard-fought battle. Neither team hit triple digits in scoring for very good reason because defense was the name of the game. And when it's a defensive battle, I'm always putting my money down on Mr. Draymond Green. Dude was flexing. Dude was hitting threes. Dude had himself a battle with Karl Anthony-Towns tonight. Credit to Cat. He held his own, but he didn't win. The Warriors were the victorious ones. Happy Saturday night, everybody. Let's get into it. This is the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Woo! Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
Baby flexing. Welcome to the Golden Days and happy Saturday night, everybody. I am your host for the evening. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild over on Twitter. My handle is Surf Journalist. The program's on both those platforms at Golden Days Pod. That was tough. The Knicks are legit. But guess what? So too are the Golden State Warriors. And the Jimmy Butler era continues to be a beautiful thing. Jiminy Butler. I love it. How could you not? Jonathan Kuminga, second game back after missing 31. Some moments of rust, but his presence clearly felt. Very welcomed, obviously. And Wardell, Stephen Curry dropping buckets. He was struggling tonight a little bit, but in a battle like this, where it's all about grit, it's all about toughness, tenacity, the Golden State Warriors coming away victorious. Again, a very low-scoring affair, 97-94, the final score, and we're going to get into it. We're going to play some sound tonight, going to obviously hear from the audience, and have us a good time. Check out the standings. Ryan Leong's going to join us a little bit from Chase Center. First and foremost, though, got to give some love to our sponsors. We only got two for the evening, so this will be fast. First and foremost, the official title sponsor of Golden Days, and that is Visit Humboldt. Go to visithumboldt.com for places to stay, things to do. It is paradise. It's beautiful. It is one of the best places to get away to and enjoy a vacation, whether you're solo, with the pup, with the family, with a romantic partner, all by yourself, whatever you want to do. Friends, they got breweries up there, incredible hiking trails. One of the most photogenic places on the entire planet. And I used to call the place home, which is why I'm elated. I will be forever elated as long as they sponsor this program because it's an easy sell. You don't have to pay me for me to endorse one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And over half our audience is in the San Francisco Bay Area, well over half. You're also in Sacramento and other places in Northern California. If you're looking for something to do, a place to go, the time of your life, check out Humboldt County. It's beautiful. And if you need resources, either DM me on Instagram at Dog Wild, on Twitter at Surf Journalist, or check out the website, visithumboldt.com. If you're on YouTube, the video right there next to me just gives you a glimpse of the absolute beauty of one of the most majestic areas of our country and state. Visit Humboldt. Today's episode also brought to you by Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform. The Golden State Warriors 7.5-point favorites tonight, although I did see that line fluctuate, but courtesy of Bet Online, it was at 7.5. Hopefully, you did not bet on the Warriors tonight because they did not cover the spread, but what the Golden State Warriors did do was win. So if you bet the money line, congratulations. If you bet on the Knicks, yet you're a Warriors fan, double congratulations. And it's not just the NBA, it's March Madness. We got to pump that up. It's here. And if you want to have some fun betting on college hoops, go check out Bet Online, the world's most trusted platform. How are you doing, folks? Good evening. Saturday night, the Golden State Warriors winners by a final score, 97-94. Stephen Curry was your leading scorer in this game with 28 points, but he only shot 4 of 13 from three. Some of his biggest buckets tonight were, in fact, not from the three-point line, but with penetration, meaning he was attacking the paint. He was getting buckets inside, desperately needed buckets at that. And they won. Draymond Green. I think that the theme of this show and the theme of the night certainly was Draymond and Karl Anthony-Towns with a ridiculous back and forth. Yes, Jermaine. Night, night, Knicks. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. As you can tell, I have no sympathy for other fan bases. This program is about the Dubs. That's our focus. So while I love the city of New York and most Knicks fans, at least the ones I've met, have been phenomenal individuals. When you play the Warriors, kiss my ass. I could care less about how your team does. So yes, night to the Knicks. Draymond Green was doing the night gesture. I don't know if you watched the end of the game when the final buzzer sounded. A lot of anticipation about the sportsmanship that goes into two teams giving handshakes, saying goodbye, giving each other some acknowledgement of a hard-fought battle, won and lost, but in the end, you're trying to remember it's just a game. Well, this wasn't just a game to Karl Anthony-Towns or Draymond Green. After the game finished, Karl Anthony-Towns was out of there. There was no handshake between him and Draymond Green, who early in the game, it didn't take lip-reading expertise to realize that he was saying in regards to Karl Anthony-Towns, he's soft. He said that multiple times. Those two had some battles in this game tonight, especially early in the game. Steve Kerr, by the way, going with his 36th different starting lineup tonight, an interesting tweak that initially had me scratching my head, initially had me frowning in disappointment, largely because the substitution was Guy Santos for Quinton Post. I like Quinton Post as a starter. I also really like Guy Santos. But the logic of it made sense a few moments later when you actually started to watch the game and realized that the New York Knicks did not start Mitchell Robinson in this game. Their center, who's missed a lot of the season, he came off the bench tonight, and Steve Kerr, in a matchup-based decision, opted to go with Guy Santos. He wanted smaller players he knew and faster players. He knew that Draymond Green was going to be defending Karl Anthony-Towns, and that was going to be the matchup. So he saved Quinton Post largely for Mitchell Robinson. Interesting strategy that, again, it worked. They won. That's the goal here. So with that said, a tenacious start to this game between both teams. You could tell just right off the bat that this was going to be something, especially between those two particular players, Draymond Green and Karl Anthony-Towns. In case you're unfamiliar with why there was some animus between the two players, Draymond Green on his podcast, when the Warriors and Knicks played each other just a couple weeks ago, alluded to Karl Anthony-Towns missing the game because he did not want to face Jimmy Butler. It turns out Karl Anthony-Towns actually missed that game because of a death to it was like I can't remember. Now I'm drawing a blank on the role of this individual. It doesn't matter. It was someone very important. It was like the aunt of his girlfriend or wife or somebody very important to him, and his family passed away. So he missed the first Knicks Warriors game because of a funeral. Draymond Green barely apologized when he learned. Look, he's a competitor. He's in the middle of a 5th championship pursuit. He doesn't care about pleasantries. He doesn't care about feelings. The man's all about winning. That's the only ethos in his head is W's. So he didn't care. Karl Anthony-Towns is a rival to him. Those two, by the way, side note, have a rivalry going back years. There is no love lost between those two players. They have talked shit to each other for a number of years. Draymond Green has been very clear in his lack of respect for Karl Anthony-Towns. So the commentary from a couple of weeks ago was just added drama, to a back and forth that's been going on again for a lot of years. Then, of course, you have the Jimmy Butler variable where him and Karl Anthony-Towns were formerly teammates during Butler's brief stint playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and which is why Draymond Green said what he said, because infamously, Jimmy Butler thought Karl Anthony-Towns was soft and made that criticism and sentiments known very clearly. So Draymond Green pisses Karl Anthony-Towns off because he doesn't give a shit about being wrong about the reasons for Cat missing the last game. Cat comes into this game clearly pissed off, had an emotional edge to him. And look, Cat played a great game. Let's not mistake that. But Draymond Green played maybe not statistically better, but he won the battle. And again, when you look at the box score tonight, Karl Anthony-Towns was fantastic. 29 minutes, 50 seconds would have been more if not for the fact that Cat got into foul trouble early in the game. More specifically, in the first quarter of this game, Karl Anthony-Towns picked up, let me find this right here. He had one foul in the first quarter, and then he got two more fouls in the second quarter, and he was done. And that second foul came fairly early. And again, that was largely because of Draymond just being a pest. Draymond was putting up threes and making them. Draymond Green in the first half of tonight's game, just to give you some context in terms of what Dre was doing offensively. Dre had 5 points in the half, only had 1 3. He was 1 of 2 shooting from deep in the first half, but that 3 was huge. He was attacking the paint ruthlessly. He was putting the pressure on Cat, put him in foul trouble. Karl Anthony-Towns is out for the rest of the first half, and that's why his minutes were as low as they were. But Cat, when he played, was insanely effective. I mean, part of my mind was drifting off to fantasies of what if Cat was on the Warriors. That would be pretty wild, but he's not. So, we move on quickly. But Cat finished this game tonight. Again, the stat line was incredible. He's been having a phenomenal year. He's almost certainly going to make an all-NBA team this season. And Karl Anthony-Towns finished with 29 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 3 of 5 shooting from deep, 12 of 21 from the field overall. But again, they didn't win. And that's all that matters. And so Draymond wins this psychological warfare with Karl Anthony-Towns. Now, Dre himself played 32 minutes, 18 seconds. And in that time span, he was 1 of 2 shooting from 3 in the first half, missed his 3 attempts in the second half. So finished the game 1 of 5 shooting from deep, 3 of 9 shooting from the field total. So Draymond Green will not be tonight's player of the game, largely because you just can't with a stat line like this. But Draymond Green was the winner, and that's all that matters, and that's why I personally love the hell out of this guy, because of his competitive fire. Draymond Green finishing tonight 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, added a steal, added a block, was a +2 in net rating. So Draymond Green did not win the psychological battle, but he sure as shit won the war, which was the game itself. Yes. Coop in the chat saying, it's crazy the Warriors didn't even really shoot good tonight and they still won. You're absolutely right. And again, this was just one of those gritty types of games that had a strong postseason feel to it. Like the Chase Center crowd, that was the loudest and most passionate I've heard them all season. I mean, you were hearing those old school Oracle Arena Warriors type chants that just echoes and resonates through the whole building. I can't remember the last time I heard that. It's happened at Chase, obviously. I mean, when they won the championship in 2022, the crowd was phenomenal. But it's been a while since they've made themselves heard, since the crowd was a variable affecting the game. You heard them tonight for very good reason. This game was tight, very physical, a lot of back and forth. In terms of lead changes, there were 13 of them total. The Warriors' biggest lead in this game was 9. I believe they got to that in the third quarter. The Knicks' biggest lead was 5. This was close from beginning to end. And the Knicks, even without Jalen Brunson, reminding us they're a damn good team. There's a reason why they're going to be they're at least going to be in the Eastern Conference semis. Unfortunately for them, because of the 3rd seed, they're probably going to end up playing the Celtics in the second round. And the Celtics are just an awful matchup for the Knicks. But nonetheless, they are a good team. Got to give them a respect just for the fact that they've got talent and they pushed the Warriors to the brink for sure. Jimmy Butler did not look comfortable at all when he was attacking the paint. The Knicks defense gave them issues. OG Anunoby, a player that I respect tremendously as well. You'd think with Tom Thibodeau's insane minute distribution where he just treats his players like workhorses, you would think that OG Anunoby with a significant injury history would be falling apart playing for Tom Thibodeau, but it's been the opposite. He's shown some surprising durability, and tonight he was playing good ball as well with his size, with his shooting. Anunoby finished with 23 points in this game, added 9 rebounds in this game, was 2 of 3 shooting from deep. And Jimmy Butler, meanwhile, who for a lot of this game was matched up with Anunoby, again, struggled offensively in a lot of departments. You could tell that the size of the Knicks was giving him a little issue when Butler was inside in the paint, especially. So the stat line for Jimmy Butler was not anything that would blow your socks off. 11 points for Butler. He was only 3 of 11 shooting from the field. Did make a 3-pointer. He had 2 3-point attempts and made one of ththose. A perfect 4-4 from the charity stripe. Again, the free throw attempts and the makes for Jimmy Butler is such a vitally important variable for the Warriors in terms of flipping a script. Their side note now, 14-1. 14-1 when Jimmy Butler plays. They're now 18-1 when Moses Moody starts. Steve Kerr. This game was so insane that we're now 16 minutes into the show, and I haven't once mentioned Steve Kerr. Congratulations to you, sir. Yes, I know I've been a critic, and I'll still be a critic if he does dumb shit. But when he's accomplishing incredible things, I'm also going to tip my cap. And Steve Kerr tonight passed Alvin Adels for the most wins by a head coach in Golden State Warriors history. That is insane. And that just goes to show that Kerr, who I believe this is his 10th or 11th year. I forgive me for not knowing the exact number. I know his first season coaching was 14-15. So I think 10 sounds right, but this also might be officially his 11th. Anyways, I won't waste your time trying to do the math on that. It's either 10 or 11. For him to break the mark in that short of a time span is particularly fascinating to me, simply because Don Nelson also had a very long coaching tenure with the Warriors, and it wasn't his record. Alvin Adels had a long tenure as head coach of the Warriors, and his record just got broken. So congratulations to Steve Kerr, now the winningest head coach in Golden State Warriors history. That does deserve acknowledgement. So kudos to and Ed Marsh, of course, in the chat going with, please fire Steve Kerr. By the way, Tara Doe in the chat confirming that it is 10 years. So this is his 10th season, and it'll be 10 full season when this year comes to an end, if Tara Doe's math is correct. So nonetheless, congrats to Steve Kerr. The Golden State Warriors tonight, again, winning a hard-fought battle. So Jimmy Butler real fast. I was reading his stats just to finish up again. 11 points on the night, 6 rebounds on the night, 7 assists. I mean, his role as a facilitator on this Warriors squad, incredible, insane. And so kudos to him. Jimmy Butler was second on the team, tied for second on the team, more specifically in terms of net rating with a +10. And he was tied for second in net rating with Moses Moody. And I'm going to leave this to the audience tonight in terms of who deserves player of the game honors, because it's going to come down to my opinion, and I hope we can apply a democratic process here for the remaining few seconds of whether or not it's going to be Moses Moody or Stephen Curry as your Humboldt County player of the game. Underdog's officially out, at least for now. So, your Visit Humboldt player of the game is, who is it? I see, Byron Knox adding the word MVP after it. Stanley Warren saying definitely Moody. A-Rod won with a bold take, saying if the Warriors win the chip this year, that Steph's going to retire. Stephen Curry did, side note, say that he will play at least through the contract that he currently has signed, meaning he's under contract for 2 more years after this season. So he would have to change his mind on that front. it is a hell of a way to go. If you do decide to retire after winning a championship, it would certainly elevate his legacy to mythical proportions if he did that. It would be insane. But I don't know if he would. Anyway, so Byron Knox saying Moody. I know I said that before. Derek Simmons from Vegas saying that Moses Moody deserves it. Snooty X saying Moody. Fal Sharpton Moody. Gio Leoncarlo Moody. Frank Grimes Moody. All right, so the theme is set. Tonight's player of the game for a second game in a row, Mr. Arkansas himself, Moses Moody. He had himself a fantastic game tonight on both sides of the ball. His defense was exceptional offensively, whether it was clutch threes, whether it was attacking the paint, driving in for incredibly important buckets in the interior. Moses Moody played 33 minutes, 29 seconds. Again, I mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. The Warriors are now 18-1. Let me say that to you one more time, just because it's such an absurd stat that it needs to be highlighted more than it is. Because I don't see other individuals. I don't see in the grand media landscape. I'm not seeing this uttered as much as it should. When the Warriors start Moses Moody, they are now 18-1. We're approaching a 20-game sample size of Moses Moody as a starter. And the Golden State Warriors are almost undefeated when he starts. Dude is awesome. It is so fantastic seeing Moses Moody take this next leap in his game. And Moody tonight, 33 minutes, 29 seconds, shot 50% from the field, 7 of 14. Shot 50% from deep. He was 4 of 8. Did not get to the free throw line, but that's okay. Had 1 assist in this game, 1 rebound in this game, did have 2 steals in this game. And those 2 steals were pivotal. And the 4 threes were pivotal. Every bucket was timely. Congratulations to Moses Moody, democratically elected via the Golden Dazers as your player of the game tonight. He deserves it. Moses Moody, unreal. People were giving me grief because 2.5 years ago, when the Warriors won the 2022 championship, in exultation, I said the Warriors could have themselves the next Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the form of Kuminga and Moody. And we're not going to know if I said that just one time and people love to hold on to it, and that's fine. But those same folks who are giving me shit for saying that, they're awfully quiet now because Moses Moody's game is emerging. Jonathan Kuminga, meanwhile, playing his second game as a member of the Golden State Warriors. Playing his second game since missing 31 games because of a severe ankle injury. Not as good of a night as the 18 points we saw against Sacramento. Still had a huge game, though. 20 minutes, 25 seconds of play. 10 points. He got to double digits. The Knicks are just a very physical, big team. Kuminga was 3 of 8 from the field. Did not take a single 3-point attempt. In his 2 games back since the injury, he's only taken 1 3 total. Which I'm guessing is making a lot of people happy because I know some people don't like seeing him shoot threes. There were like 1 or 2 possessions in tonight's game where I did think he should have taken a 3-point shot, but he's so athletic that great things happen the moment he penetrates and attacks. His athleticism just causes headaches for opposing teams. Kuminga was 4 of 6 shooting from the free throw line, was second on the team in free throw attempts with 6, made 4 of them, did grab 5 rebounds, and maybe the best stat of Kuminga tonight, besides the 10 points and 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, is he also got 5 assists. And he's also embracing the facilitator role that Jimmy Butler largely owns right now, since he's been a member of the Warriors. If that's rubbing off on Kuminga, more power to you, brother. It's a beautiful thing. So Jonathan Kuminga tonight, again, 10 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds in his second game back. So kudos to him. 1-page chat so far, courtesy of Julian Bashir, is writing that Stephen Curry got over 4,000 threes. Oh, thank you, man. I didn't know where you're going with this. Yeah, we got over 4,000 subscribers about a week or so ago. Thank you, Julian. It is a milestone. We're now going for 5. The climb continues. Took us about 7 months to get there for a channel that really started from scratch back in August. So thank you. I truly appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you, man. Kevin Durant, I don't know what you said originally. I love that Kevin Durant's in our chat right now. That's how huge the show is getting. Kevin Durant plays for the Phoenix Suns, won 2 rings for the Warriors. He's also a Golden Dazer. Thank you. And I'm being facetious. Obviously, that is not really a Kevin Durant. Stephen Curry tonight, I want to go back to him real fast because he had back soreness. We saw him being in discomfort in that Kings game. And I didn't see any signs of him having similar pain tonight. But there are moments in both the Kings game and this game where you noticed, at least I did, some discomfort from him. There were a few 3-point shots in the second half of this game, more specifically in the fourth quarter, where I feel like if Steph had made those, this game would have been done with 6 minutes to play. But Steph struggled in the final quarter. And again, I don't know if it's the back. I don't know if it was the Knicks' length. I just, maybe it was just an off night. But in the fourth quarter of tonight's Warriors-Knicks game, Steph was 0 of 4 shooting from deep. Finished that fourth quarter just 1 of 6 from the field total. But that's why I mentioned that a lot of his field goals that came in the inside were so huge. And it was another reminder of, and I know this has been going on for a few years now, but Stephen Curry, once upon a time in his career, was not this version of himself in terms of being physical, in terms of the muscle mass that he now possesses. And so when he's having a difficult night like this, where the 3-point shot's not falling, and we started seeing this a lot in 2021, where I still steadfastly maintain that Steph was robbed of a third MVP. Nikola Jokic did not deserve MVP that season. That should have gone to Steph, but I digress. He started to show that he can also attack the paint and be a physical player on the interior. And the officials tonight missed a very blatant foul on Steph at the end of the first half. Steph made a buzzer beater at the end of the first half. Should have been a 4-point play. He clearly got hit on the arm, and he made it known very clearly to the head official that was a foul. And I was watching the exchange back and forth, and the official did not act like someone who was giving an agree to disagree speech. He was sitting there nodding, acknowledging that maybe he missed an important foul there. And I bring all this up because late in the game, even though Steph's shots were not falling, especially in that fourth quarter, he was getting buckets in other ways. He was using his physicality to get points in the interior. Steph finished this game 8 of 20 shooting from the field, but his attacks also took him to the free throw line. And I know some of those free throws were late game fouls by the Knicks. And side note, if you're another team playing the Golden State Warriors and you need to foul them at the end of a game, friendly piece of advice: foul someone else. Do not let Stephen Curry, who is literally the greatest free throw shooter in the history of this game, go to the free throw line. And yet that's what the Knicks were doing. So Stephen Curry had 4 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter. I think 2 of those, maybe all 4, I can't remember exactly, were toward the end of the game. But generally speaking, in this 48 minutes of back and forth between the Warriors and the Knicks, Stephen Curry had 9 free throw attempts, easily led the Warriors in that category, and he made 8 of them. So Stephen Curry was 8 of 9 shooting from the free throw line. It was good to see him get to the line as much as he did, because the guy gets hit almost every play. He also had his crazy cut above one of his eyelids. I think it was actually his right eyelid. And I mean that. It wasn't like the eye. The cut was on the eyelid. Like, I don't know when that happened. If someone in the chat actually noticed or heard from the broadcast crew some acknowledgement of what specific play resulted in a fingernail or whatever it was that cut his eyelid. I bring that up and I'm emphasizing it because that is damn close to your eyeball getting cut. And I don't want Stephen Curry's eye to get scratched. F that. So that was kind of crazy seeing the blood literally on his eyelid. But Stephen Curry tonight, despite a physical battle, reminding the world that he can play that style as well. He's not a finesse player, contrary to certain stereotypes out there. And Stephen Curry tonight, again, 28 points. all the third quarter. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was looking at the third quarter stats because I was just curious to know where Steph's free throws came from. He had 2 free throw attempts in the third quarter, made both of those. And then in the first half, Stephen Curry had 3 more free throw attempts, and made all 3. So he finished the game 8 of 9 shooting from the free throw line. Steph was contributing in other ways as well. 7 rebounds in this game, 5 assists in this game for Stephen Curry. Did have 3 turnovers. They were pretty sloppy. Draymond Green also had 3 turnovers. And that was just an example of those two. Every now and again, getting a little too loosey-goosey with the ball. But Steph, 28 points on the night, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a -5, interestingly enough, in terms of net rating. But Steph, despite the occasional struggles, had himself a night. I've been talking for 30 minutes straight by myself. I need to get some audience members in here because I know people want to chime in. They've got takes, and I want to hear them. It's Saturday night. What are you doing besides enjoying this program? The link is now in the chat if you want to join me. Other players of note. Guy Santos started tonight's game. Noteworthy. Again, this was the 36th different starting lineup by the Golden State Warriors this season, if my math is correct. And Guy Santos, again, the energy is just awesome. I remember vividly a 3-point shot that he made that was huge. He only had 2 3-point attempts in this game total, and he made one of them at 5 points, 7 rebounds, 20 minutes and 53 seconds of action for Mr. Guy Santos. Bravo to him, and bravo to Derek. Good to see you again, Frank. Your reaction to the Warriors being the weather. Is that right? Good to see you, man.
You were blanking out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Well, good to see you, man. No, floor is yours. I'm done.
Oh, good to see you, Cy.
You too.
And what an amazing ending. I cracked up laughing when Draymond hit the night-night. I mean, he hits it so dominating, and it's just so funny. And then to do it in front of Steph Curry, it's just hilarious. I think what we're watching right now is like a movie. It's
yes,
like
sir.
a movie.
Yes, sir. That's what this is. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Kuminga, I loved him again today. I loved how he knew that Buddy Hield was going to airball one of the shots. Buddy Hield was on the side. He had a side shot, and it almost looked like a pass. Like Kuminga just caught it and then went back up. Kuminga just adds another element that makes this team seem like it's almost impossible to beat. Even though the Knicks came back in the game, they were within, like 2 points at one point in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
I never really felt that they were going to win because we just feel like we just have way too many weapons. The only thing I'm getting annoyed about is the rhetoric continues. Doris Burke saying, well, Draymond Green says that they're going to win the championship, but I got to see what it's like when they play bigger teams. The Knicks is not a bigger team?
I know. She's been a hater for a long time. I don't know if you also caught that during halftime because this was a nationally televised ABC broadcast with the ESPN crew there. Bob Myers, of course, and Kendrick Perkins being the goon, the ignorant goon that he typically is. Literally at halftime tonight, Stephen A. Smith said that he thinks the Warriors are a legitimate championship contender. He was commenting on the fact that Draymond Green's hitting his threes, and if that's an element of his game that we're going to see in the postseason, the Warriors could be it. And there's Perkins, of course, being the a-hole hater that he is. No, man, I think this is going to be a second-round exit. I think that's what he said. Right. I don't know if you caught that as well. So, yeah, Perkins.
And Bob Myers. I'll call Bob Myers, too. He was like, oh, yeah, I don't think so. And that was an example of people want to see you do good, but they don't want to see you do better than them.
Did Bob Myers say that? I missed that. Bob Myers said he doesn't think the Warriors are winning a championship. Is that right?
Yeah, he was like, because when Kendra said they're going to be a second round exit, Bob Myers was like, yeah. And I was just like, Bob Myers don't want to see Dunleavy succeed. Not to that degree.
Yeah. So, look, I will say this. Bob Myers and Steve Kerr didn't think the 2022 Warriors were going to win the championship. I kept hearing that season, and I was mind blown because I was looking at that team going, who's going to beat them? Like that's a part of the equation, right? When you're looking at a team and wondering and prognosticating, right? If in terms of what a team's going to do, you got to look at the landscape. That's a part of the equation. Like who's going to beat the Warriors? And in 2022, I didn't think anyone else had a shot. This season, again, we got a big game coming Monday, man. It's here.
Yeah.
Warriors Nuggets, Monday night, St. Patty's Day. That's my litmus test, dude. What are your thoughts?
Hey, are you getting a little sweaty? Is your palm sweaty?
No, I'm more excited, dude. I feel so good about this Warriors team because I'm with you. I felt the same way you did, where this game tonight, the whole time, I did not think they were going to lose. It was hairy at the end. I mean, the Knicks, I think, tied the game with like just minutes remaining, and it was a little sketchy. In the pre-Jimmy Butler days, the Warriors do lose this game.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge difference between pre and post Jimmy, but I'm with you. There's a level of confidence there now that did not exist before. So I felt great about this, and I feel good about Monday night, but I need to see it, man. What do you think?
I think that, I mean, they're 13-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup.
Now, I think.
14, yeah. 14-1 now with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. I can't recall if Kobe Bryant, if LeBron James, if Michael Jordan had a 14-1 run, they're turning things around in the season, and then everybody's doubting if they can win the championship. Like it's Steph Curry gets so much disrespect.
So
much. That's the only thing that I'm annoyed about. It's so disrespectful. Like they're acting as if Steph Curry is not Steph Curry. Like it's like, do you so respect?
You know what the great news is about that though, Derek?
Yeah.
Steph and Draymond, and they're teaching this to the youngsters as well, right? They feed off this hate, dude. So that, and I always think about that. Like every time you see like Perk, Doris, whoever the haters are, man, and ESPN is full of them. Charles Barkley. All that does is fuel these guys. So on one hand, I'm with you. The disrespect is annoying, but on the other hand, I'm also thinking to myself, please continue. Just please, like you might as well just put coal into an engine, and let that thing cook, dude. That's what the Warriors are, man. And the coal in this case is the hate from these media personalities. So I say bring it. Although I'm with you though too that it bothers me that the disrespect is still very alive.
So let's say they beat the Nuggets on Monday, right? What are they going to say then? Well, they beat the Nuggets today, but we got to see them in the 4-game series. We got to see if they can.
You're not going to hear me say that. I mean, like I'm looking at the schedule up ahead, right? They played the Nuggets Monday, and then the very next night they host Milwaukee, which is kind of a crazy back-to-back. They scheduled for the Warriors. Like you got to face Jokic, and then the very next night, Giannis. Like that ain't nice. But anyways. You look at the upcoming schedule. The Nuggets, to me, are the ultimate test in terms of like whether or not the Warriors can actually hoist a fifth Larry O'Brien, which is great. They do play the Nuggets again on Friday, April 4th, at home, thankfully. And then there's one other game that I'm looking at that I think is kind of one of those interesting, feel-out type matchups, and that's Thursday, April 3rd against the Lakers. Although I think this Warriors team matches up perfectly with the Lakers. Like they don't scare me that much. That Nuggets game is really the one I'm looking at, but there's nothing else, man. I mean, dude, this is looking good. This is looking damn good is what I'm trying to say, man. How are you feeling? Any final thoughts before we get into this?
I want LeBron James healthy. I want the Lakers fully healthy for that game because we owe them one. And I got that game circled. I want to beat them at full strength, and I want to leave without a shadow of doubt to all the haters that we are the best team in the West. I do have my doubts against Cleveland, though. Those doubts against Cleveland is still there for me. But, again, I think we're the best team in the West right now. And hopefully when we get to – I'm not going to say if. When we get to the finals, it'll be Boston again because Steph Curry makes Brown and Tatum his kids.
Well, look, we're gonna get to the scores at the end of the show here, but I saw someone in the chat mention this, and I'm looking at the scores now, and I cannot believe this happened. I don't know if Denver's just looking ahead or what's going on here, but the Nuggets lost tonight at home to the Washington Wizards.
What?
Yes, that really happened, dude. I'm looking at the box score. Nikola Jokic dropped 40. Nikola Jokic had 40 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Jamal Murray had 24 points. And again, this is where I think the Nuggets are going to be screwed when they play the Warriors. They don't have a bench. like they don't have the depth that they've had in past years, and that's why they don't scare me too much. But I still need to see it, to fully believe it. Like, look, like the 4 guys that got minutes off the bench for the Nuggets tonight. Jalen Pickett. Have you ever even heard of that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Vlatko Kankar?
Nope.
I've heard of Peyton Watson, but he doesn't scare me. And he got 23 minutes. And then Zeke Nnaji. I think he's a rookie. Those are the 4 players that came off the bench for the Denver Nuggets tonight. Zeke Nnaji, I apologize, was second on the Nuggets in bench minutes with 21. Peyton Watson led the Nuggets in bench minutes tonight with 23. Dario Saric is getting DNPs for the Nuggets. That's why I'm not overly scared, but they still got Jokic. And if I'm not mistaken, the Warriors haven't beaten the Nuggets since 2022. So, right. You've got that to deal with, but I'm feeling good. I am.
Even in the 2022 season, we didn't beat them in the season.
We haven't beaten them since 2022, correct?
Right.
In the regular season, yes. It's been a long-ass time.
Long time. So
it has been a long time, man. So I need to see it. But that's where we're at, brother. Any final thoughts? I got people waiting in the chat. I want to get to everyone tonight.
That's it. I'll let you get to everybody else. I'll stay here. And
promote. You got a YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. Follow me, guys. Derek Simmons, IFBB Pro. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to teach you guys how to build some of that muscle.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, some of that hustle for the muscle. And,
Bravo.
And, so let's go. Let's go. All right.
Let's go, dude. Let's go, brother. Have a great night, Derek. And I hope you have a good Saturday night in Vegas. I'm guessing you're a homebody, which is kind of weird for a Vegas dude. But am I wrong? I don't know. You tell me. What are you doing?
I went out last night for some steak, but I'm staying in tonight.
Okay, that's a bump and scene in Vegas, right? Like if you want a good steak, you've got options, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm dieting right now, but so if I go out, I eat clean. But it's nice. See some beautiful women. You got some music going. It's nice. Good time. Is
the Circus still have the best steakhouse in Vegas?
Circus got shot up today.
What?
Yes. Yeah, people were trampling over each other trying to get out.
Oh, dude, crazy world, man. Derek, stay safe, brother. Love you. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Let's get Jesus. Oh, Circus. Aim assist, the man with the silky smooth voice. How are you doing?
Man, I'm excited tonight, bro. No cap. Man, my boy Jordan Poole hit a game winner on the bum-ass Nuggets, man. I can't be too excited, bro.
That's how it ended?
Yup, he hit a 36-foot game winner, bro, on the Nuggets to win the game.
So what did that tell you? What's the message there? What's the lesson that you learned from that, if anything?
Well, the lessons that I learned is Poole the next Curry, and the Nuggets, we're going to kill them.
Good.
That's what I learned.
Jordan Poole with 19 points. The Wizards have this kid who I love, and I've been saying this on the show before, but he was the number 2 pick in last year's draft. Alex Sarr. Sarr had 34 points, 6 boards, 5 assists tonight, beating up Jokic. Bravo to them. But let me ask you this, Aim, just because you did a little research, it seems, on that Wizards Nuggets game tonight. Is there any possibility that Denver was looking ahead to the Warriors and that's why they lost tonight? Like, because that's a possibility. I'm not ruling that out, man. That's how big this game is Monday night. What do you think?
I wouldn't say that, because last game they struggled badly too. Like, they've been really struggling the last 2 games. So I think it's just they've been struggling as a team because their bum ass bench. They don't have any bench. Once Jokic sits, it's over with pretty much.
Sean and who's going to be on the show here very soon, writing in our private chat that Jordan Poole hit it from distance. It was like reminiscent of Steph when he got the double bang from Mike Breen against OKC. Is that fair to you as well?
Oh, yep. And can I say something? I think we actually match up well against the Nuggets. I don't know why people keep gassing them up like, oh, I got to see them beat the Nuggets. Oh, well, yeah, they finna be taken.
Because the Warriors haven't beaten them in 3 years. That's why. I know this is a different team, but
we haven't.
Nikola Jokic, he is him. Like, he is him. And the Warriors haven't beaten this Nuggets team. I think it's a 10-game losing streak that the Warriors have to the Denver Nuggets. 10. So that's why. Does that make sense a little bit?
What? Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's Jokic. It's the fact that they've owned the Warriors for 2.5 years now. But I'm also with you, man. Like, logically speaking, when you look at the matchups, you look at the way the Warriors have been playing, they should take care of business Monday night. But the Nuggets have owned the Warriors, dude. So I got to see it. That's why I'm in that position, because I need to see with my own eyes to fully believe it. But that's just me. Any final thoughts, Aim, before I get to Chardall and then Mike Weisberg? Sean, you're after.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried. I think Jokic can't do that lazy ass defense he always do. Just sitting around, just bombing out. Oh, I'm tired. I ain't gonna play no defense. I'm gonna just sit right here. And then as soon as he sits, Jonathan Kuminga off the bench, just killing everyone. Yeah, it's over with. Like, we killing them. 10-point win. Hey, and if we don't win by 10 points, I'll come on here and say I was wrong.
All right, deal. Well, I want to see you Monday night regardless, Aim. Will you show up? Win or loss?
Yeah, I'll show up. Easy dubs.
And we got a correction in the chat. My apologies for the mistake. I was spitballing there. It's actually a 9-game losing streak. The Warriors, for whatever reason, are going to play the Nuggets just 3 times this season. They've only played once so far. That game was way back early in the year on December 3rd. And the Warriors barely lost that game. 119-115, the final. The game that always sticks out to me the most, though, was when the Warriors blew that 20-point halftime lead in the game where we didn't see Jonathan Kuminga play in the second half after being a huge part of leading in the first half. So anyways, Monday's going to be huge, man. And thank you to Strictly Christo for correcting me in the chat. It's actually a 9-game losing streak. Doesn't make me feel any better, but Aim dropping out with the style that he does. Chardall is now with us. How are you doing, friend? Going once.
Hey, Cy.
There we go. There you go. How you doing? Are you doing that good? So what else are you up to tonight? Ah, I see. So you're just hanging out with the boys, huh? You're going to an all-male strip club? What?
Cy.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's just you're going to the all-gay strip club or all-male strip club because you know that's where the ladies are at. Okay, that's a good strategy. I respect that. Wait, you think the Warriors are going to lose Monday night? Chardall, how dare you? That is not the type of fan that I expect. You think the Warriors won't even make the playoffs, Chardall? Oh, dude.
The Warriors are not going to lose on Monday night.
Why are you so? What's going on here? Why are you muted, or what are you doing to yourself?
No, I
Speak, friend. Ah, I see. So you're having conflicted feelings about the way you feel about one of your male friends. Look, that's okay. Chardall. No judgment. Love you either way. I don't know why you're talking about sexual orientation on a Warriors show, but that's okay.
Hey, Cy, do I have the floor?
You always have the floor. Go ahead. I'm waiting for you to talk. Wait, what? You took an hour-long poop that had blood in it? Chardall, you got to regulate the diet a little bit, okay? Look, I know. Chipotle is delicious. I get it. But if you've got blood in the stool, ease up on the Chipotle. All right, Chardall?
Cy, can you stop talking? Be quiet.
Talking when you actually talk, Chardall. Yeah, blood in the piss is not good either, Chardall. So make sure that's okay. You got to start eating and drinking more healthy. Get some fruits in the diet. Add some veggies. Chardall, I don't know why we'll try you again a little bit. Let's go to Mike Weisberg. Mike, floor is yours. How are you doing, friend?
I meant it's trolling you. That's how that was. If you don't know that that's a troll after about a minute, look, Cyrus, I don't know what to tell
Well,
you.
if that was him trying to troll, enjoy me saying all the things I said, man. Like, I was trying to get him to talk. What's going on with that kid? How are you doing, Mike? Good to see you.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Couple quick thoughts on this game. One, firmly disagree on your Draymond Cat take. Cat had every right to be annoyed at Dre for what he did last week.
I didn't say he didn't. I didn't say that. So he had a right. You're correct.
I think that the thing with the Dre stuff that was most interesting is he was giving Cat space to shoot. Like,
repeat that. I'm sorry. Say that again.
He was giving Cat 30-footers. He was giving him 3-pointers. And like, you just don't do that with a guy who shoots, 37, 38% from three. And Dre talked about it post game. He's like, yeah, I might have got away with a couple, but I think Dre thought he was in his head, genuinely. So, it kind of is what it is there. Otherwise, I think the biggest takeaway is Moses Moody.
Agreed.
Like,
he's stepping up.
Steph was fantastic tonight. JK was good. I think the biggest takeaway is Moody's ability to rebound and defend. Defending at the point of attack for the Warriors is easily going to be the most important thing in these playoffs. And Moody, a guy who I know most Warrior fans wanted to have playing throughout most of the season, has come out over the last 3 weeks since Jimmy's been back and been like, okay, I can do this role. The thing that Steve Kerr said I can do this. So I think that part of it has been the most compelling part. Otherwise, the only other thing that I'll say on the Nuggets front that you mentioned, Cyrus, and I mentioned this in the private chat, they just got done playing 5 games in 7 nights, which is why they lost to the Wizards.
So Mike, they lost to the Wizards.
Oh, look, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm giving you reasons why the things happen sometimes in the NBA. Sometimes you're going to take a schedule loss, even if it's to the Wizards, in a close game.
Mike, my opinion, and we're just spitting opinions here. My opinion is, unless like your entire starting lineup has been slaughtered and where they lost their lives, and we're talking a mass funeral up ahead, you have no excuse to lose to the Wizards. That's just me. Like, if they had played back in a row, 8 straight games, day 9, you better beat the Wizards, man. That it just ain't a good look, especially when you do it at home. That's my thoughts. Why are you wearing a Celtics hat, by the way? What's going on? Are you a Celtics fan?
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So are you here to talk shit? Like what's going on? Why are you here
I'm just here to hang out. I live in the Bay. I live in the Marina. So and I've lived in the Bay on and off for the better part of 30 years. So
here's my opinion on your Celtics, and let me know what you think, Mike. I think the Eastern Conference is yours. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are regular season champions. I don't think they have a shot in hell of beating the Celtics in the postseason. That's just me, and I'll tell you why. Because Spider has no shot against that Celtics team, man. Drew Holiday is going to make his life hell. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. It doesn't matter who it is. Derek White. He is not going to cook the Celtics in a 7-game series. Darius Garland is good, but he ain't good enough. I just don't see. I don't see it. I don't see the Cleveland having that number 1 guy to take down a vaunted, mighty, reigning world champion like the Boston Celtics. That's just my take. Your thoughts?
I'm not saying I disagree with you necessarily, but here's a fun stat that'll blow your mind. Donovan Mitchell has the highest scoring average of any player against Celtics in NBA history in the regular season.
Ever. You're talking about the illustrious, historic,
more than Michael Jordan.
Have they ever played in the postseason though? Because
Donovan played 2 games last year. Obviously, he got hurt in Game 3. But just briefly on the Celtics, because I don't want to take up too much time on the Warriors pod. My general thought, playoff wise, is I feel pretty good. We got KP back today off the illness. He had like a weird non-COVID illness. Dropped 24.
Yeah, what was that? What was that? Was it just like bronchitis? Like what are we talking here? What
was
the illness?
It's what they released a statement that basically said they didn't know.
Jeez, that's crazy.
They went to 3 different doctors. No one knows what it is. Anyway, the important thing that I'll just say on Cavs Celtics, and I'll bounce off. I feel really good in that matchup. I don't think they can compete with us on the wings. I don't think they're good enough defensively. And the other thing I'll say is Evan Mobley better show up. Like, I don't know that Mobley can handle Porzingis in a 7-game series. So we'll see. I feel really good about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in any series. And that includes against what it's worth. So
I'm totally with you, man. And again, Cleveland, congratulations. Incredible regular season, but I don't see it. I just don't see them. The Celtics are an awful matchup for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and matchups are what it's all about in the postseason. So, yeah, that's
last
take.
quick question, Cyrus. Why don't we have you on playback yet?
What's playback? You mean the one like during the game?
Yeah, where you can stream live.
Because I can't do that and this. Because if I'm doing playback, I need time to prepare and set this up. So it's either a post-game show where. I also don't know what the financial structure is of playback. Like, are people making money on that thing? They are? All right, maybe I'll look into it. I'll see.
Here's what I'd recommend doing. Reach out to Sam Esfandiari. He's got growth over there.
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good on that. He's the competition. B, when I first decided, okay, I'm gonna get back into the media game, I reached out to him early, and he was a dick. So, all right, if that's your approach, great. You're now competition to me. And everything I've heard from the guy in that show has not impressed me. I have no clue why that show has the audience it does. More power to people who like it. Not my cup of tea. Nothing about it impresses me. I don't learn anything. I don't laugh. If you're not informing me and you're not entertaining me, I move on in a hurry. And on top of that, the guy was a dick. So you put those three things together, and not worth my time, man. I'm focusing on my own thing. So, but look, I like staying in a lane that I'm finding some success in. It's a good lane for me here. I'll check out playback. I will.
Yeah, look, I can put you in touch with other people. That's fine. But all I'll say is it's done well. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I don't want to take too much time. Peace.
Nice. Hey, are you joining us from Boston?
Oh, hell no. I live in the marina.
In where?
I live in the marina. I
in the
live
marina?
Here, so, yeah.
Oh, you're here in the city. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, gotcha. All right. Well, good luck and with your Celtics. And my prediction is we're gonna see each other in the finals. So
I don't know about
check
that.
back in.
My honest prediction with the Warriors is I think they're ceiling in second round, but we'll see.
So you're like Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, I can be a dick when I want to be. Anyway, later, buddy.
So you're like everyone else who doubts Stephen Curry. All right, that sounds good, man. I like it. Mike,
shameless.
Nice to meet you, brother. Take care, man. Have a great night. Shardal, I'm going to give you another shot here, man. Can you actually talk this time?
Hey, Sai. I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. I love all your content and videos on the platform. This is a decent win for the Warriors. They take down the Knicks 97-94.
Decent. That's it? Just decent?
It wasn't a blowout. I was predicting a blowout.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right.
This was and Steve Kerr surpassed Al Addles for the winning to become the winningest coach in NBA history. It's a great honor for Steve Kerr. I was actually in attendance for the 2018 Warriors championship parade in Oakland, and Steve Kerr got off the bus, and he signed my Warriors jersey.
Good. Are you going to sell it or are you going to keep it? What are you going to do?
I'm going to keep it.
All right. What are you doing tonight, Shardal?
I'm at home right now. I'm just, I'm not doing anything right now. And you're just a great host.
Thank you, brother. Let me ask you this, Shardal. I want to flip it back to you for a second. I want to get to know you a little more here, all right? And I imagine the audience would love this as well. When you're watching a Warriors game, where are you? Like, are you in your room? Are you in the living room? Like, describe the setting.
I'm in my house.
What part of the house?
I'm in the living room watching the Warriors game on TV.
Big screen, or like what size TV are we talking here?
Big screen.
How many inches?
Like a jumbotron.
And when the game is going on, are you loud? Like are people around you saying "shut up"? Are you quiet? Like what's the mood in the house while the game's on?
Nobody tells me to shut up. I can be as loud as I want when the Warriors are winning.
All right. Well, that's good. And then now that the Warriors have won, are you just hitting up all these different shows, or is it just me? Should I be that honored? I'm gonna guess no, and that's okay.
I'm hitting
But
up
is this
all.
what you're? Go ahead, sir.
I'm hitting up all different shows and coming on to show love and support for all the fellow content creators out there who are putting up Warriors content like you are.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to show love to them as well.
Good. I mean, you show love beautifully, Chardol. Your positivity is infectious. What do you do when all the shows are done? Like it's 8:59 p.m. right now on Saturday, March 15th, a day after Stephen Curry's birthday. Happy belated birthday again to Steph. We celebrated with Ramona Shelburne yesterday. Thank Curry again. That was a fantastic guest, and she provided a lot of information that I can't thank her enough for. I hope to have her back on the show soon. But Chardol, it's almost 9 p.m. I'm going to guess all the shows will be over in like an hour. What are you going to do then? Do you go to bed? Like, do you go to sleep early? Are you going to like check out porn?
I'm going to work. I'm going to work out.
Oh, you're going to work. Okay. All right. I like this. Weights. Like, are you more into like strength training? Are you more of the burning the calories and doing the hard stuff? What's the workout?
Strength training and burning the calories.
So bench press, curls. What are you doing?
Bench press, curls, sit-ups, push-ups.
Good. You know Herschel Walker? Do you remember him? Have you ever seen videos of him when he played for the Cowboys?
I've heard of Herschel Walker.
So he's a physical beast, and Herschel Walker never used weights. His entire workout regimen was just strength training, like what you do: push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and he had an incredible physique. So there you go.
Sai, what are some tips that you would give to the Golden State Warriors if they want to potentially make a run to the playoffs and even make it to the finals?
Listen to Stephen Curry. I think that's pretty much it. Just
and watch the SNL sketch Little Chocolate Donuts featuring John Belushi.
All right, Chardol. I got Sean waiting. He's been waiting a long time.
Let me tell my to find me, the way to find me on social media, I'm SGA Sports Talk channel. I'm at 352 subscribers. I'm on the road to 400 subs. Make sure I get there. And guys, make sure to click that like button, smash that subscribe button,
please,
and ring that notification bell for Golden Days, because my boy Sai, he's my boy. I love my boy. I come on this show, support my boy every single day.
Brother.
Sai is my boy. I love this guy. This guy is the OG on Golden Days, and show some love to this guy. Because this guy,
show some love.
Show some love to this guy.
Chardol, thank you, brother. Chardol, SGA. The G stands for Gupta. Is that correct?
S stands for Stephen Curry. G stands for Draymond Green, and A stands for Andre Iguodala.
Oh, okay. I always wondered about that.
Those are my three favorite players on the Warriors. I'm a big Stephen Curry fan. I'm a big Draymond Green fan. Hands down, I'm the biggest Andre Iguodala fan out there.
Were you there for the jersey retirement?
No, I wasn't there, but I was watching the jersey retirement on TV. I was breaking out in tears.
Did you see me behind Iguodala?
Man, I was breaking out in tears. See all the teammates out there. Jordan Poole was in the tribute video. KD was in the tribute video. I was crying watching that video. That was the most beautiful video I've ever seen.
Chardol, you're beautiful, friend. Any final thought?
And I'll be joining you on the St. Patrick's Day when the Warriors play the Denver Nuggets.
Prediction.
I'm going with the Golden State Warriors getting the 155, Denver Nuggets 100. Stephen Curry dropping 65 points, 13 rebounds, 15 assists.
I'll take it. Chardol, have a great night.
I'll see you on Monday, and the Warriors have to beat the Nuggets because I hate Jokic. I hate Nikola Jokic. I hate that man. I wish we'd take that man down. On St. Patrick's Day.
What about Russell Westbrook? Do you like Russell?
I hate the whole Denver Nuggets team. I don't even like anybody on that team. Hope they all lose. Stupid ass Nuggets. Hope those stupid ass Nuggets lose.
Have a great night, brother.
See you later. See you later and let's beat the Nuggets.
Sean, you're on the show. I'm sorry you have to follow that up. It's a tough act to follow. Great to see you. How you doing? And your reaction to the Warriors beating the Knicks in a tight yet very fun game.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Can I just react to Shardall's prediction? 155
Whatever you want.
to
Whatever
0.
you want. Go
Warriors
for it.
beat Nuggets by 55, and Curry has an NBA 2K like triple-double. Good for him.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So
is the LB for Long Beach, by the way? Are you representing?
Yeah, I went to college in Long Beach.
Nice.
But I'm from the Bay Area.
Whereabouts? We're in the Bay.
About an hour east of the city, Pittsburgh, Antioch.
Yeah.
That
area's changed a lot, man. It used to be an absolute dump when I was growing up, and now it's like, how much is a house there? Like $500,000? It's like,
yeah, but it's still a dump, dude. It's still an absolute dump. Dude, that's why I left, man.
No, when I was young, it was bad, dude. Like that's where we're like. If you're in high school and you wanted drugs, you went to Antioch or Pittsburgh, if not Oakland and 90th. It was one of those places. And now I feel like if you got to be a millionaire to own a home in Pittsburgh. So, hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
No, you're good. So, couple things. I miss the days. I'm being sarcastic when Moody was getting DNPs for our boy Tony Lamb. Remember those good old days?
Tony. Good Tony. Hope he's well out there wherever he is. Yeah.
Yeah, glad Kerr's finally giving him some run. I like what he's doing, especially I'm glad Moody's finally getting a run. Dude, I don't think it was by choice. It was probably more by force. Like Kerr's just looking at his roster, like, shit, I guess we got to play Moody tonight. Wow.
He just didn't have Kerr just doesn't have patience. And look, that's fine when you have a stacked team, but when you're trying to develop players, it's just not the right approach. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a little bit worried. So tonight was a good test for QP, and how's he going to be coming down the stretch? How's he going to be in the postseason? He didn't look great tonight. He had 20 minutes. He didn't get up a lot of shots. They were kind of suffocating him. He wasn't guarding Towns straight up, but Towns got a lot of offensive rebounds, and a good amount of them were when QP was in the game.
I'm glad you brought that up. And if you don't mind, I just want to add this real quickly while we're on the topic before I forget. Because I actually had Quentin post in my notes for a couple plays. Like Jimmy Butler, for example, this was at the 8:35 mark of the second quarter. Jimmy Butler found Post for the three, and it was a beautiful play. It was like a friendly reminder of Jimmy Butler and what he brings as a facilitator. And Post did hit it. That was the only three of the game that he hit for the entire game. Quentin Post only had 5 points on the night. He was 1 of 3 shooting from deep. But you're right, man. Quentin Post struggles at times defensively against bigger players. Frank Red, who's a regular guest on Larry Kruger's show, and I'm long overdue to bring him on here. He's a great scout, and his scouting report on Quentin Post is that his shoulders are narrow, meaning when he's playing against bigger dudes like Karl Anthony-Towns, that extra width that these other players are bringing allows them to muscle and push him back, and he looks like the weaker dude out there sometimes. I agree with you. On the flip side, though, I did see some plays tonight from Quentin Post, and then I'll give you the floor back, I promise. But there were plays tonight, like Post was involved in a pick and roll with Steph in the late third quarter, where Steph literally just set the whole thing up and just slid it nice to Post, and he got the bucket. And
when he kind of cut through the lane,
where Post found Steph, but Post was almost like playing like a point guard role. And it was just, there were moments where I see Quentin Post and I'm thinking to myself, the potential is who knows, but the fact that we have no clue yet, and we've got this ceiling that's limitless right now, awesome. On the other hand, like you said, he struggles sometimes with guys who are his size. And I hope over time, muscle development, age, experience, that'll fix those things. But tonight was a mixed bag. I saw some nice plays, especially offensively, but you're right. Defensively, Karl Anthony-Towns had no problems when Post was defending him. Continue on.
Yeah.
You agree? I don't know, maybe you didn't agree with me. I don't know, but that was just
he had a good game against Portland, right? And they had Kling Kong, who's 20 feet tall and 300 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And Post was all over the place, but Klingon's not as he's not as seasoned as Towns or even Mitchell Robinson, but we'll see. I'm keeping my eye on that. And then the closing lineups have always kind of been the calling card for the Warriors. So I think our highest ceiling closing lineup would be Curry, Butler, Draymond, obviously, Moody and Kuminga, the lottery picks.
Incredible, right?
Are we going to get to see it? How much runway is Kerr going to give Kuminga in that closing lineup? It looks like Moody's got his spot for now. And when Podziemski comes back, Kerr loves him for good reasons. He'll play too. But I want to see that lineup get a long runway, hopefully soon, leading up to the playoffs. Because that's the closest thing to the death lineup that this team can put on the court.
Correct. And we've talked about that before. And I don't know if you watched older episodes, but we've been having a lot of discussions about who that fifth player is. Once Kuminga gets his conditioning back and he doesn't have the minute restriction, which is at least part of the reason why he did not close tonight. We saw GP2 as that fifth player. What did you think of GP2? Like his stat line tonight, because he's been playing great ball lately. And tonight he was in that closing lineup. He was 3 of 5 shooting from the field, 6 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, no turnovers, which I'm paying attention to with him particularly because you don't want to see mistakes from him, right? He had 2 steals and a block. Gary Payton II led the team in net rating tonight with a +12. Sean, what did you think about his play?
I like him. I trust him. I mean, I felt good about him in the lineup tonight, and I thought it made sense. And he was on the court a lot in 2022 when we were playing Mike's team in the finals. And
Correct.
Gary Payton was wrecking shit, right? Boston was having nightmares about that guy. He was everywhere. I think Kuminga still presents a higher ceiling. I think he can do more with the ball in his hand. On defense, GP2's obviously a better point of attack defender, but I think a better helper. He gets a lot of blocks for a 6'2" guy. But Kuminga's 22, and his development curve is still on that hockey stick, right? Where he's going to the moon. And GP2's kind of already at his ceiling, which is great. And we love it. So I don't mind seeing it, and it's tough to experiment at this point in the season because tonight Houston won. I think Memphis won. Who's right behind the Warriors? Minnesota won last night. So you start experimenting with these lineups, you drop a game or two, and all of a sudden, we're the 8 seed. And it can happen quick, just like how we got up to the 6 seed. So
I want to read this quote to you. I was doing this research while you were speaking. Sorry. I was listening, just multitasking, but going back to your concern about Podziemski, who missed tonight's game. Reportedly, he's not going to be available for the Nuggets game either. I think I read somewhere they're going to reevaluate him Tuesday. He's got the lower back issue, but for those who are concerned about Podziemski potentially taking minutes from someone else when he comes back, and I understand that concern. Here's a quote for you which might make you feel better. And this is Steve Kerr referring to his gut, saying, quote, "My gut is Brandon Podziemski should be with that closing lineup," meaning Curry, Butler, Draymond, Kuminga. Kerr saying, "My gut is Podziemski should be in that lineup."
Yeah.
But maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. I'm thinking about Brandon Podziemski's playmaking. But with Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, maybe we have enough playmaking and can put a shooter out there. Say Moses Moody or Buddy Hield. The Buddy reference kind of crazy, but at least Moses is referenced. That's definitely a lineup we are thinking about. Unquote. Right. So the point is, and this was just from a few days ago. The point is, I don't know if you feel encouraged by a quote like that, but Steve Kerr is saying the right things and seems to be open-minded about who's going to finish up. And the fact that he himself mentioned Moses Moody as that potential fifth player at least encourages me. What do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. And yeah, I remember when he said this, and since then, Moody's been in the closing lineup, I think,
correct,
tonight. And well, yesterday they were up, or the last game they were up by more than enough to where, it wasn't really a closing lineup. But it's refreshing. It's refreshing that Moody's getting the confidence of the coach.
It is 100% agree, man. And again, I'm of the belief that you play your best 5 players, right? And so right now, Moses Moody is making a very strong case that he's the 5th best player on this team. I'm still blown away, man. We mentioned this at the beginning of the show, and I'll bring it up again. 18-1 record when Moses Moody starts. Manny, I'm going to get to you next as our final audience member tonight. But Sean, is that stat as insane to you as it is to me, or am I maybe hyping this up too much?
No. I mean, I didn't even know that was a real stat until tonight.
Incredible.
I like it. I'm not super surprised. Remember, he was a rookie and he was starting in the Western Conference Finals against Dallas out of nowhere, and then he was getting DNPs after that.
Well, Kuminga was starting in the Grizzlies series. Like, people forget that, man. Like, these 2 youngsters were part of that title run, man. They have that experience, which is underrated yet very important. Any final thoughts, Sean?
I think we pretty much got through most of the stuff I wanted to say. I'm not a huge fan of the Draymond tactics. He called himself out tonight for giving Towns a little bit of extra room, and it almost bit us in the ass. Remember, he was doing that to Mike's team, to the Celtics, and Jaylen Brown canned like 3 or 4 threes almost in a row, and Celtics mopped this by 50 points. I think it was the worst home loss in history. So hopefully he learns from that, but it's Draymond. We just got to kind of ride his roller coaster and fuck, man. I've lost a couple years of my life for sure riding the Draymond Express.
The Draymond Green roller coaster is wild. There's no questions about that. I'll say this time and time and again in terms of Draymond Green. I'm so happy he's on my team and not on the other team, because if he was on the other team, I'd hate him. I would hate his effing guts, dude. Like, it's insane how different the perspective is with him being on your team versus not. Because I get it. When other fan bases like cringe and they have like legitimate hatred, the worst feelings imaginable about Draymond Green, a part of me understands it, man. But he's on our team. I'll take it all day, every day. You need a Draymond to have a dynasty. So that's just my take on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. And if I'm in the Bay Area when the statue goes up, I'll be there, probably wearing a Curry jersey, but maybe I'll have a picture of Draymond in my phone.
Where are you right now if you're not in the Bay Area? Because you're not in the Pittsburgh, Antioch area?
No, I live in San Diego. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
San
So
Diego.
I went to college in Long Beach, and then I moved to San Diego about 4 years.
I called the San Diego area home for 4 years. I lived in Encinitas though, but 2 of those years I was going to San Diego State, getting my master's degree. That's how I started teaching. Where in San Diego are you?
El Cajon, Rancho San Diego. So about 20 minutes east of downtown. Yeah.
It's America's finest city, man. They call it that for a very good reason. Are you going to stay for the rest of your life there?
We'll see. My wife's got a good job and we're digging it. I'm in sales, so I'm very flexible, so I can kind of come and go. Maybe we'll go to Thailand. That's where she's from, and rent's a lot cheaper out there.
Are you watching White Lotus?
No, it's on our list, dude. We've been going through what's the one on Hulu about the president? I don't know. We've been watching a bunch of different shows. White Lotus is on the list. Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. Sean, nice to meet you, brother. Thanks for coming on, and go Dubs, dude. This was a hell of a game, brother. Have a good Saturday night too.
Yeah, you too, bro. Appreciate it.
Give a kiss to the beautiful city and region of San Diego for me. Side note, before you go, my farewell present to San Diego. I got to stop saying doggo. It's San Diego. My farewell present to San Diego was I wrote, and I spent like a good few weeks, maybe even a month on this story, but it was a 2-part story, and all you got to do is Google history of professional basketball in San Diego, and I published this, I think, for HuffPost, and I did a whole piece on at least up through the San Diego Clippers, and I know they're back as the G League team. So your region has a illustrious, rich history with professional basketball. It goes back to the San Diego Rockets, who then became the Houston Rockets. A lot of people don't know this, that the Golden State Warriors for one season called San Diego home, along with the Bay Area. In hindsight, it was a ploy because the owner at the time was trying to get the Bay Area to pay for a new arena, and that's how the Warriors ultimately went from the Cow Palace to what became Oracle.
Yeah.
For 1 year, they changed their name from the San Francisco Warriors to the Golden State Warriors, and they were going to represent the entire state. And again, in hindsight, it was a ploy. They were doing it because they were trying to convince the Bay Area to pay for the arena. And the Bay Area did not want to lose the Warriors, so they were like, all right, fine, you win. We're going to buy you. We're going to build you an arena. But for one season, they called San Diego home, and I think they played 4 home games there that year. This was in 1971. So in case you're unfamiliar with that story, folks, yes, the Golden State Warriors have some roots in San Diego.
Wales, yeah. All right, man.
Have a great night, brother. Thank you so much, man. Ryan Leong joins us live from Chase Center. An hour 20 in. What were you doing, brother? Great to see you.
I cleared the cache on my cookies, so I was trying to figure out a way to get back in so I could stream the pod. That's what happened. Technical difficulties.
Well, I don't know if people are familiar with you in terms of what you actually do in the arena after games, but typically your role, your task, and OMG, it's Manny. I'm going to get to you very soon here. You're going to join us in a second. Sit tight. But people are not familiar that after the game, and maybe they are, I don't know, but just to remind them, you go into the visiting locker room and you're interviewing players. You're getting sound. Tonight, I feel like was a particularly interesting evening for you to do that because Karl Anthony-Towns and Draymond Green, they had themselves a little rivalry tonight, and they did not shake hands when the game ended. Karl Anthony-Towns and Dre did exchange words at one point. Draymond Green was pointing to the bench saying he's soft. We all saw that it didn't take an expert lip reader to come to that conclusion. What was it like in the Knicks locker room when he went in there, Ryan?
Well, I did go in there, and so he was asked that question specifically by Ron Krojcik from the Chronicle, and Karl's response was, "It's not my job to tell you what was said." That's what he said.
And that's it? That's
what he said. Yeah. And so I'll post it later. We'll have my friend, colleague Marco will sync up the video audio and I'll put it on YouTube. So I was the only guy in there. So I'm the only guy with that actual camera that got the post game, which is interesting. I'm surprised because this is New York, right? You figured New York would have at least one camera of somebody, but I guess because the game was on ABC and so MSG wasn't televising it, but I'm just surprised. I mean, there's been so much of a change in the media landscape, Cyrus, of how things are done, that this is the first time I can remember doing any New York post game and not seeing a camera in there besides my own.
Why is that, do you think?
Money.
Interesting. That's crazy. That is crazy, man.
But the other writers. But I'll say this too. I'm glad they didn't tell me to not record because I know that the other New York teams, if I do the Yankees or the Mets, they don't allow cell phone cameras to shoot their post game. So I'm always going to do something until you tell me I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easier to. What's the old adage?
It's easier to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
There you go. Exactly. So you got to. The cameras also caught during this game. I think it was Josh Hart and Thibodeau. Had an exchange in this game. Richard Jefferson, one of the color commentators tonight, was trying to downplay it, saying this happens every game, even though we don't see it happen every game. I don't think it's as common as he was trying to spin it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that was asked as well. So yeah, it's good to go to the Knicks. So Thibodeau just said, "Hey, he's my guy." It's a heated moment. That was it, right? And so then Josh said the same thing. Josh in the locker room says, "Hey, I'm Tom's guy. I'm very loyal to him, et cetera, et cetera." But yeah, and then the writer said later, as soon as I stopped recording, I heard one of the writers say, "Just do your effing job." Is apparently what Thibodeau says over and over and over again. So, and I didn't see all that. I don't know when that happened in the game, because I got to admit, and I mentioned this to you, I didn't get to this game tonight until halftime because I was, me, man, I don't just cover basketball. I try to cover everything, right? So I went to the Sharks game today, and I saw Alex Ovechkin score another goal. He is only 8 goals away. 8.
I don't want him to do it, man. I don't like that. What do you think?
He's going to do it. It's going to happen.
I mean, look, it's one thing if it's like a true star of a game, like breaking these records.
He's a true star of the game.
Oh, come on, dude. Are you serious? You think Alex, like for the non-NHL, like
he's not? Casual... Okay, I'll say this much. Yeah. He's not. Wayne Gretzky's Wayne Gretzky, right? I mean, he was immortalized in like Wayne's World and all this other stuff, right? But yeah, and you think of guys that are like the next player. I would still say you're probably right that more people will say Sidney Crosby.
Yes,
is the heir apparent to being
or like Jaromir Jagr. I would have understood a little more.
Well, Jagr, okay, but again, Jagr is also a peer of Gretzky. Okay, so you can't. I wouldn't compare the two of those guys. You have to compare the next generation, right? So the next generation would be a Sidney Crosby, an Alex Ovechkin, a Connor McDavid, et cetera. So And people are like, what the hell are we talking about hockey? Yeah, people.
No, it's fine. In case people aren't familiar, Wayne Gretzky's all-time score, is it the goal record or the scoring record? Goal record is about to be broken. Yep. And the individual is going to do it. I'm not trying to hate on him, but he's just not a well recognizable individual for the common fan, at least not here in the United States. I could be wrong. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I would say, because remember, he does play for the Washington Capitals, so I wouldn't go that far. But I will say, because he plays for the Capitals and he doesn't play for the LA Kings, he doesn't play for the New York Rangers, he doesn't play for the Montreal Canadiens, one of those teams. I think because of that, he's a little bit more obscure. Which is, that's hard to say because he is honestly one of the greatest hockey players ever to play.
I'm not doubting that.
But, all I'm saying is, to your point, I don't disagree with you because that just goes to show you that a lot of teams are still kind of like, our fans are like, who are the Washington Capitals? But I took Caltrain down. There were a lot of Capitals fans on the Caltrain. So
that's interesting. Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's
interesting. So there are more fans out there than you realize. It's just that I would say that he's definitely. He's definitely deserved, the accolades he's gotten. I mean, the guy can skate still really fast. He's 39 years old. He's got as much gray hair as you do. Actually, he has more gray hair than you do, actually.
Mitchell and Ness, by the way, I think saying the best possible reply to all this conversation, which is Celebrini,
yes.
Macklin Celebrini, yes. Right? The son, interestingly enough, of
Rick Celebrini. Hey, there's a connection. There's a Warriors connection for you.
For the Warriors, yes. His son was the number 1 pick in the NHL draft, and you see Rick Celebrini a lot at Sharks games because of this, supporting his son as well. So there's the connection there. And so Macklin, Celebrini, and Coffee Noir. Look, Ovechkin 100% is one of the greatest all-time hockey players. All I'm saying is I have no recollection of a single interview he's ever done. I have no, there's no thought that comes to my mind of a noteworthy play he's made that sticks out in the legend of sports. It's just of all the guys, he's not exactly like a star, say, if you will. One of the greatest ever. Yeah, I'm not pretending as an athlete that he's not worthy. I'm just saying he's not a star, and that's it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'll say this. I think also,
who cares? Yeah.
I'll say he is a star, but I know he's not liked because my cousin just came to visit from Montreal, which is why I wasn't on your show on Thursday, because I went with her to cover the Sharks game against Connor Bedard, who's the other previous number 1 draft pick. So it was a battle of number 1 draft picks. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
And anyway, she's a big diehard fan of hockey, and she doesn't want the record being broken because Gretzky is a legend. So I think, again, the way I would agree with this is Ovechkin's a star, but Gretzky is a legend. That's why I think it's unfortunate.
10 years ago, I shot my shot at Paulina Gretzky. I tried. That's all you can do.
Oh, nice.
She's tall, by the way.
That's Janet Jones' mom, right?
Who's? Yeah.
Janet Jones is her mom. Yeah.
And this was before she was single at the time. But again, nice. I shot my shot.
Good for you, man.
I tried. That's all you can do when you have someone, at that level.
What's that old saying? You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Exactly. I had no expectations either. So let's go back to the Warriors here, and let's bring OMG It's Manny on the show. Because he wants to talk Warriors, and we got Ryan Leong joining us live from Chase Center. Yes, that is Chase Center behind Ryan. Manny, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's 12:27 here in Orlando, Florida, but I'm up here as the loyal supporter of the Golden Days and of you, Simon.
Hey, OG, you got no camera, man?
No, listen, I'm about to hit the bed. I got church tomorrow in the morning, and it's past midnight here in Orlando, Florida.
He might be smoking a doobie for all we know.
No, sir.
There's a good conversation in the chat about a train wreck and the strain. I still like train wreck, side note. Zal in the chat as well, dropping this interesting comment that since Jimmy Butler has been a part of this team, Steve Kerr has largely abandoned small ball. He's right. Like we haven't seen like a 3-4 guard lineup where it's like Pajemski and GP2 and who are the other guys that we get? Like Dennis Schroeder was getting minutes. And Steph. Like, yeah, you don't want you don't want 3 or 4 of those guys on the court together. So I agree. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm sorry. Repeat the question again real quick.
Have you noticed a diminishing of small ball lineups since Jimmy Butler got here?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, I again, it's hard to say that. I mean, the Warriors are always constantly playing small ball, it seems, you know? I mean,
there's like different levels to small ball. There's like small ball, which is what the Warriors have been doing for the dynasty, where you're not like diminutive, but you're not playing Karl Anthony-Towns level players in terms of size.
Yeah,
but what
I
would
say the Warriors are playing more of a mid-size now game.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of small ball, they're more mid-size.
Well, and if you want to call this small ball, fine, but I don't know what you would call. That's why I kept calling the last 2+ years when we were seeing like 4-guard lineups out there. That was Hobbit ball. Like, I don't like the Hobbit ball where
I would
the
say
average height of your backcourt 6'2". Like, ditch that shit, please.
I would call this mid-size ball.
Yes, that's fair. Manny, what do you think? What do you call this version versus what we were seeing pre-Jimmy Butler?
I mean, compared to what we used to be watching, this is giant-sized ball. I mean, what was the average before? Compared to that, we're doing much better. Which is why I wanted to bring this point about Monday against Denver. We're not playing the same exact Hobbit ball lineup that we used to.
Correct.
Now, not just that. On top of that, I believe Aaron Gordon is hurt and he's not there. He's one of the best, I think, is perimeter defenders that they got. Michael Porter Jr. has not been playing as well, and they lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the Orlando Magics. So they don't have the exact same Denver Nuggets team that they used to have before. Plus, on top of that, their bench is completely exhausted, which is why I am not afraid of the game that's coming up on Monday, because they don't have the same exact Denver Nuggets team that they have had for the last, 10 years that we haven't beat them or whatever. So, or 9 years, I think someone corrected. So they have a different team. We have a completely different team. We're not just a perimeter 3-point shooter team. We're penetrating in the paint a lot more. We're more physical. We're drawing more fouls. We're going to the line a lot more. That slows down the game a lot more. So, getting physical with Joker, as big as he is, making him move more, making him take more impact if he's going to be guarding at the paint. I think that's definitely a lot of points that are going to be beneficiary for us whenever we go against them on Monday night.
And we're going to talk about that in just a second, because Monday nights, it's a heavyweight title fight. It's going to be an incredibly meaningful game to see where the Warriors are facing a team like that. You're right, though, Manny, 100% that the Nuggets this year are diminished compared to teams we've seen previously. And Mike Malone, their head coach, was griping to the front office about that this previous offseason. He was not happy that the team was not spending to bring reinforcements, to bring depth. I don't know what the Aaron Gordon situation is in terms of injury. I'll look that up, and we'll discuss that before the end of the show today. But Ryan, what are your thoughts about Monday, man? I mean, this is a big game, dude. Aaron Gordon will likely not play, which does help the Warriors' chances. What I'm seeing from the Nuggets is a lack of depth. Just piggybacking off what Manny said, dude, this is not a team that can bring out, reserves of players. They can't. They don't have the reinforcements. Like the bench tonight, I'll read this off again. They had 4 players come off the bench. I don't even know who half these guys are, man. Like Zeke Nnaji. I've heard of him. I've seen him play a couple games. Doesn't scare me. Not against the Warriors. Peyton Watson doesn't scare me. I've never heard of these two guys. Of Vlatko Kenkar and Jalen Pickett. Honest to God, I've never even heard of these dudes until tonight. Side note, they scored a combined 0 points, those two. The entire bench scored a combined 8 points tonight in a home loss to the Wizards. The Warriors should be able to handle that, but Nikola Jokic is a trigger-level fear factor for me. Ryan, your thoughts about Monday's night's game against the Nuggets?
As you were mentioning that whole sequence of, I never heard of these guys. You got to play that scene from Major League. Dude, hey, who are these effing guys? And then you got to say it in Japanese. Or are they saying they suck, right? They suck.
Dude, great call, dude. Yes.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
Of course, it's one of the greatest movies. When it comes to sports, when it comes to comedies, period, but especially sports comedies, it's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, what's real crazy about that movie, and again, I love going on tangents here, is the Indians had been really. I guess I can say this, right? We're on YouTube. They were the really shitty team, and so David Ward, who was the guy who wrote that movie, was like, I'll never see the Indians do anything. I'm going to write this movie about them winning the pennant. And lo and behold, what was it? 5 years later, right? They became this really good team. They move into Jacobs Field. They become this juggernaut of a team. And in less than a decade, they're in the World Series in 1997. So
yeah,
it's crazy how that movie turned. And then if you look at some of the characters in real life, right? Willie Mays Hayes, Kenny Lofton, right? And then Pedro Serrano, Albert Bell. I mean, you can see the parallels on a couple of these guys, that they had on the team.
It's such a good movie. But and speaking of which, I want to switch gears for 1 second and make this a lighthearted question. And I'll start with you, Manny, and then Ryan. What is on your Mount Rushmore of sports movies, comedy or otherwise? Manny, I'll start with you. Mount Rushmore meaning 4. What is your 4 best sports movies ever?
Man, I don't watch a lot of movies, to be honest with you, but The Replacements.
Okay.
That's
Rest
a
in peace,
movie.
Gene Hackman. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely one of the movie. The one with The Rock playing football he's coaching the football team. Or was it? It was The Rock.
It was, and the little girl in it is now like some model. I forgot the name, but yeah, I know the movie you're talking about. Ryan, do you know the name of it? I can't remember what that is.
I don't right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but now you mentioned it, I do want to check out that movie. So.
All right, continue on, Manny. You got 2 more.
Oh man, you're making it tough. I mean, I do gotta go with the old school Space Jam with Michael Jordan.
Yes, that's a good one.
I have to. There's one with Queen Latifah where she is a basketball coach. I forgot the name of that one too. But it's
Gridiron Gang was the one with The Rock.
Yes, that one, Gridiron Gang. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the other one will be the one with Queen Latifah. It's not that recent, but fairly new compared to the other ones.
Ryan, what's on your Mount Rushmore of sports movies?
All right, so believe it or not, one of my favorites is Happy Gilmore. Love that movie.
Of course.
I actually saw Happy Gilmore in the theater. I must have been one of the few that saw it in the movie theater.
I think I saw it in the theater too. And are you hyped about the sequel? I can't believe there's going to be a sequel.
I am and I'm not, because you've already lost 2 people, right? I mean, I actually got a photo. I have to show it to you sometime. I don't know how we could. So I'll have to tweet it or something, and so we can put it on the podcast next time. I got a photo with Carl Weathers 2 months before he died.
That's cool. At least you met him.
So we'll do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I met him. So we'll do it for the next show. We can do it for the next show. But yeah, anyway, to answer your question, so I'm a little because Bob Barker passed away. I know Carl Weathers, although he died in the movie anyway, right? But they could have brought him back as a ghost or something, So, but that's a really funny movie. I love that movie.
Of course,
I love the original Rocky, even though people kind of dog the boxing scenes. But come on, that's a great movie. There's so much great dialogue in that movie, and the acting's pretty good too. Even though people try to pick on Stallone, but at the time they made the movie, people were calling Stallone the next Marlon Brando. Crazy enough.
That is crazy. By the way, Rico Lyle saying that the Queen Latifah movie is called Sunset.
No, I don't think that one's it.
Okay.
I'll look it up. I'll message you on Instagram whenever I find it.
All right. And my last 2, Major League, as we were just talking about, and because I had to pick a 4th movie, and I just saw it not too long ago. White Men Can't Jump.
Oh yeah, that's a class. I can't believe they remade that.
I got to tell you a real funny quick story about that. So Wesley Snipes, although he looks very athletic, They tested both guys, okay? And so by the time they were done with all the training and stuff, Woody Harrelson, he's actually good enough to play like as an amateur pro, okay? Wesley Snipes is not. So they did a lot of camera tricks and things like that to make him seem more athletic than he was. But Woody Harrelson
Wesley Snipes is in 2 of your movies.
That's right. And so in Major League also, he couldn't run very fast. So if you watch, he's always in slow motion.
Good point. I never thought about that. Good point. And Charlie Sheen, of course, when he was at the peak of his powers. Manny, any final thoughts?
Steroids too. He was taking some
steroids. Yeah. Manny, any final thoughts on the Warriors and Monday? They're playing the Nuggets. Just your last thoughts, sir.
Not on that. No one has mentioned one thing that I noticed today. I don't know exactly. I don't know if it was Jimmy or Draymond who threw a lob pass to Kuminga, and he was underneath the basket, very Jimmy-like, and just jumped, grabbed it, and tossed it into and made the shot. Didn't get the foul call, but I noticed that, and if that's the goal for Kuminga to start emulating what Jimmy Butler is doing, he's getting to a good start with that. And then this may not be a very popular take, but right now at this moment, I think that the best 4 players that we have will be Jimmy, Curry, Draymond, and Moody, because Kuminga is still working on getting back. We still need Kuminga to get back. So I think Moody is our 4th best player right now. He's doing amazing in both defense, offense. He's making that corner shot very frequently, and that's helping so much, especially with the driving and kick. So we definitely need Kuminga to get going, get more acclimated to the new system, because it's definitely a new system with Jimmy Butler in it.
Yes,
but
sir.
definitely, I'm really excited to see that 5-man lineup get more time before the playoffs, because I know we're gonna need it a lot in there.
Wholeheartedly agree. I want to play this clip for you folks real fast here. This is from a couple of weeks ago, but this was Steve Kerr talking about Jimmy Butler and his influence on Jonathan Kuminga and what he hopes to see from that relationship. So here is Steve Kerr again talking about Kuminga and Butler.
His film, but also showing some of Jimmy's stuff, what Jimmy's doing right now, because I think he's the perfect guy for JK to emulate. What makes Jimmy special is that he doesn't try to be special. He just plays fundamental basketball. And, the constant fundamental play, he never turns it over. He just makes a simple play over and over again. And I want JK to learn some of that. He's so explosive. I think it's always hardest for guys who are the most talented to make decisions because they've got too many options at their disposal. So I'm hoping that he can learn from Jimmy and that Jimmy will spend some time with him. As I mentioned, JK, before he got hurt, was the best I've ever seen him play. So he was already on a really good track, and it's just a reminder to, these are kind of the things we want.
And we're getting there. We're getting there. We've now had 2 games with Kuminga back. Not as much scoring tonight as the first game, 18 points, then 10 tonight, but a complete game where first of all, the Knicks defensively are awesome. They have size. But Kuminga, where he had 10 points tonight versus 18 the last game, did have 5 assists and 5 rebounds. So a complete game for him. Nothing to blow you away, but I thought it was a good game. Manny, any final thoughts?
Yeah, on the movie with Queen Latifah is Just Right, where she's a physical therapist. They have Jalen Rose, Dwayne Wade,
there you go,
Dwight Howard, who I guess believe it or not, getting inducted into the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame. And then Kenny the Jet Smiths. But yeah, that's the movie. Other than that, man, great win tonight. Great job, Cy, today with your show. I know it's been like an hour and 40 minutes, but it doesn't seem that way. Thank you, Ryan, for joining.
You know what's funny, Manny? Sorry to interrupt, but some people advise me. They're like, well, if you want your show to grow faster on YouTube, you should make them shorter. But I'm not. I hope I'm not filling these programs with fluff. I'm cognizant of the clock, and I don't want these things to go long, but I feel like there's just so much to cover, and
dude, it's good content.
Like these are long, so
it's good content, and the fact that you actually bring people on draws a lot of attention and audience. And if you're really thinking about doing the whole playback thing or looking into it, I will tell you right now that that's going to be a way longer show because you got to start from before the game, go through the game,
I don't know,
halftime, finish the game, and then maybe add a little bit after. You're not going to be able to bring people on. If not, you're going to be behind the camera for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the play. I mean, it was a good suggestion. I'm always listening, man. I try to be an open-minded individual in this crazy world, but and not to mention, I'm sure there are people who already have an established audience on playback, so I'd have to be competing with a whole other. Yeah, I like this lane, man. We'll see what happens. Manny, thank you so much, brother. I can't thank you enough for you're always here, supportive. You bring positive energy. You just seem like a good dude, Manny. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. Hey, God bless you guys, and you guys have a great night, man.
You too, man. Coming to us live from Florida. Ryan, I had Ramona Shelburne on the program yesterday, and she was phenomenal.
Oh, wow, cool.
I respect her work tremendously. And she said something interesting, which I want to post to you and bring up to the audience as well, where she talked about a concept of spacing that I haven't heard anyone else mention recently, which is vertical spacing. Everyone talks about the Warriors and how much they thrive off traditional spacing, meaning players having room around them to not have a crowded defensive presence and getting easier looks. But then there's vertical spacing, and Ramona Shelburne brought that aspect up in terms of what Jimmy Butler has opened up for the Warriors, whether it's passes for lobs and Kuminga as well. And that's where size is important, the easy buckets that you get with vertical spacing. Ryan, what's your thoughts on that concept and the fact that the Warriors really struggled in that department before, and now they seem to be thriving? Your thoughts?
Well, I think they're thriving again just because Jimmy Butler is another variable that the Warriors didn't have, and through him, he's able to facilitate so much offense. And Steph is free to do what he wants again. I mean, Steph is back to being Steph because he does need that complementary player. I mean, everybody does, right? Michael Jordan needed Scottie Pippen.
Of course, everybody. Everybody
needs
you're
a
right,
complementary
100%.
player. You got to have another player, even though Jimmy Butler had a pretty bad game shooting-wise tonight, but whatever. I mean, what are the Warriors now? Are they like, what, 13-2 now since they got him?
14-1, if my math is correct.
Oh, that's right, because the other game he didn't play.
And here's another stat that I've been hyping up tonight, but I don't know if I mentioned it since you came on. With Moses Moody starting, if the stat is correct, and I believe it is, intern Megan originally did it a couple nights ago, the Warriors are 18-1 when Moses Moody starts. Is that as crazy to you as it is to me? Like, I can't get enough of that stat. Sorry if I'm busting.
No, come on. Anytime you're
that's
almost
crazy,
perfect,
right?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you don't want to deviate from that. So obviously, unless Kerr is really stupid, which he's not.
I've never said that. Yeah, I don't think he's stupid.
Well, you know,
stubborn at times.
Right? But you can't ignore that great of a stat. What is the math on that anyway? What's the percentage on that? 99% or so, 98%? What is that?
Well, an 18-1 record. So
Yeah.
I think you divide 18 by 19 to come up with that percentage.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Well, let's find out. Hang on. Let's see, because my math sucked. Even though I'm Asian, doesn't mean nothing.
Well, that's not an easy one to do in your head. 18 divided by 19.
95%, 94.947.
So that's what they're winning with Moses Moody.
They have a almost 95% basically.
Incredible. That's absolutely absurd. By the way, a lot of movie references in the chat. I want to play all of these real quickly. We'll get through them just because I'm a huge film buff and good movies. I don't think you can ever get enough of. Adrian Gutierrez saying Major League and The Natural. The Natural is another fantastic sports movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm at a point in life, Ryan, where I feel like I love baseball movies more than actual baseball.
Oh, no question. Well, you know what? It's not just that. It's also just the older games. If you want to go on YouTube and watch some old Giants games from like the 90s and 80s and listen to baseball games on a radio from even before then, it's just amazing. In fact, you know, if you want to watch, I mean, I don't know how much of a Giants fan you are. That famous Bobby Thompson home run. Now, not the Russ Hodges, but the Gordon McClendon call, which was the Liberty Network, I think. He called the national game, and he's got some pretty famous calls too. That game in its entirety is on YouTube.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's some good knowledge.
And he says, real quickly, he says in his broadcast, he says 20 years from now they'll be talking about this game. And he's saying this during the actual game.
Yeah, well, they're talking about it 80 years later. I mean, shit, it's still going strong.
Yep.
By the way, a Black Castle bringing up Gridiron Gang. I think we talked about that a moment ago. Julian Bashir, Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino as the head coach.
You know what I hate about that movie? That really pissed me off. You would appreciate this because we're sports guys. You know how you do a score bug visitor over home? Well, unless this is soccer, they kept putting the home team at the top. Yeah, they reversed it. And I'm like, dude, this is not soccer. Now, soccer, you can do that.
I feel you on that.
Okay?
I feel you on that. That's a little thing that would bug the shit out of me, too.
The reason you couldn't get that right, I was like, your film has no credibility. Sorry. You got to get that. You got to get something like that correct.
I wholeheartedly
That was the first thing I noticed. I went off on that. I was like, that's wrong.
Oliver Stone, you dropped the ball big time there, man. That's an egregious miss. Yeah, big time. I agree. Boris Schusterman bringing up Blue Chips with Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. That was like one of Nick Nolte's last starring roles. And the topic is interesting because back then, this was pre-NIL days. So when people were going to jail and being heavily punished for paying players, which is, side note, totally insane. Simon the Two bringing up Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what Sunset is. I don't know what movie that is. Tin Cup is a great film, I think.
That's pretty good. I just remember that scene in Tin Cup where he's trying to make that one shot and he hits this ball down the road.
Exactly. He just tries over and over and Celtic Pride. That was with the guy from the Home Alone movies. I forgot his name. What is that guy's name? Anyways, I never saw that movie. Did you? Damon Wayans, I think, is in it too.
Okay, it must be Daniel Stern, right? Talking about Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, thank you. Yes. Remember the Titans? Great film. Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck.
That movie I saw. I didn't see Mr. Baseball. I liked it. It was all right. It was cool because it showed the Japanese baseball.
Rocky, I know you mentioned that with the next Marlon Brando. A great film, The Sandlot by Strictly Christo. Good call on that one. That's a fantastic film. Oberyn bringing up a lot of films. Space Jam, I think Manny mentioned that, or did you, Ryan?
Manny mentioned it. I saw it. It was all right. I mean, I'll never forget. I bought some of the tie-in toys that McDonald's was selling. Just kind of cool back in the day. It's like almost 30 years ago.
Happy Meals. Good old Happy Meals.
Yeah.
Miracle on Ice. Oberyn brings up as well.
Miracle. The Miracle movie. I saw it.
That's a good movie.
Another quick thing about details. I don't know why, but if you watch Miracle, they got the parting of his hair wrong. Okay, Herb Brooks' hair is supposed to go the opposite direction.
Okay, that one I can live with, but
I know, but still, I'm like, come on, how can you get that wrong? I mean, shit.
I don't know. I can live with that one, but the scoreboard thing is
okay.
Let's see. The Rookie.
Great one. That's a good movie too. Yeah, the one with Dennis Quaid playing Jim Morris.
Abraham De Leon brings up Semi-Pro, which is in my Mount Rushmore of sports comedies. Let me know what you think about my Mount Rushmore of sports comedies real fast. Major League, Semi-Pro, where what's his name?
Jackie Moon, or
the guy from White Man Can't Jump. I'm having a senior moment here in terms of remembering his name. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson was in White Man Can't Jump and then was in Semi-Pro. So he's actually done 2 basketball movies there. This next movie, grossly underrated, but it's on my Mount Rushmore, and that's Kingpin, bowling film. But you're really watching it again for Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray. Just a fantastic film. And then my last one, R.A. Caddyshack. That has to be on there as well. And there's a lot of great runners-up. Let me see if there's any other movies that has been mentioned. Julian Bashir bringing up Talladega Nights, which is on TV, I feel like, every day. B. Slot saying Mighty Ducks. Adrian Gutierrez, Days of Thunder. Leo Giancarlo bringing up Hustle. That's the one with Adam Sandler, right?
I did see that. That was a good movie. Yeah, that was actually a good movie.
Yeah, agreed. The Queen Latifah movie, G is saying it was called The Right Way or something like that. It's called Just Right. I never saw that film. Ken Mamba brings up The Heir Up There. This one with Kevin Bacon, I think, right? Let me see if there's anything else here for movies. I just want to Above the Rim, Adrian Gutierrez, Wildcats, another underrated one, another Woody Harrelson one. That's where Goldie Hawn plays the football coach. Strictly Christo says Bull Durham. Boris Schusterman, The Longest Yard. I didn't think the new one was as
the original
good
one with Burt Reynolds has got to be the one you want to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly. Even though it's super old, I agree. Oberyn brings up Space Jam 2 should have been Stephen Curry. Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that's it. I don't see any other movie references, at least original ones. I'm seeing The Fan, Django. The Fan was an awful movie. I don't know how they made that.
That was a really bad movie.
Wesley Snipes plays Barry Bonds
and Robert De Niro, which is probably one of his more forgettable roles.
And in one of the most unbelievable final scenes where it's like pouring rain, it's like, dude, they call the game. They're not.
You don't play. No, this is not football. You don't. Yeah, you can play. You can play football in pouring rain. You don't play baseball. You can't grip the ball.
And they're just playing on in this like torrential storm.
Yeah, you can't do that. That doesn't happen.
Friday Night Lights, great call on that. Whether it's the Billy Bob Thornton movie or it's the Chandler guy and the series, both great. I strong recommend there. Let's see if there's any other movies real fast. Varsity Blues. That's a winner. I like that one too. Ken Mamba with an actual question pertaining to the Warriors.
Who do you think you'll get less minutes when Pods returns? I would say, let me look at the box score real quick here. I mean, guys that are already not getting that many minutes, right? Maybe Buddy Hield.
Well, it's a great question. It's going to be a challenge. This is where Steve Kerr is going to be earning his money. Kevon Looney tonight, for example, played 6 minutes, 18 seconds. And by the way, he scored 2 points. I don't know, Brian, if you remember the 2 points. It was I don't know how he got the ball into the bucket, but he did. It was an awesome play.
Was that late in the game? When did he score the points?
He was in the paint, and he had like 4 guys defending him, and he somehow still got the ball.
But
like he muscled his way through them and got the ball into the bucket. It was beautiful. It was like a vintage Kevon Looney,
right?
I'm going to out-muscle you in the paint kind of move. It was phenomenal.
Right. My question is, when in the game did that happen, though?
It was in the second half. I don't remember when.
I didn't see it. I guess.
But that's only 6 minutes. You know what? I don't know. We'll find out. I would think Buddy Hield would be the sacrificial lamb.
That's what I think.
Tonight, for example, 3 points total. He had 7 field goal attempts. All 7 were from beyond the arc, and he only made one. So he was 1 of 7 from deep. Like this game would not be close if he had just made 2 or 3 more of those. But those bricks hurt. So I don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be interesting. By the way, OMG, it's Manny dropping $4.99 saying that if the Warriors make the playoffs, you're going to donate $100. Thank you. Thanks, man. Strictly Christo is saying the Warriors are 18-1 with Moody. Again, I can't hear it enough. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely a remarkable stat. I'm not tired of it. So there we go. Ryan, I'm going to get to the scoreboard now. If you want to bail, I totally understand. If you want to stay with me, I would love it. But you're.
Tell you what, I'll bail tonight. I'll stick around for Monday. How's that?
All right, sounds good. But before you go, any final thoughts, brother? Anything else that you feel like we did not cover, or anything that you want to bring up pertaining to this game tonight? A win for the Warriors, 97-94, the final.
Well, the Warriors won despite not scoring 100 points. As you alluded to, the Knicks have a very good defense. Yes. And they kept saying that in the post-game locker room, that they were happy that they held the Warriors to under 100 points. But they weren't happy by the fact that they lost, and the Knicks finished their road trip at 2-3. And had they won this game, that's a big deal, right? Because if you win, they have a winning road trip, and they would have won 3 in a row, as opposed to losing on a sour note on this road trip. But having to play most of this road trip without Jalen Brunson, who's obviously he is their key player. I mean, he's driving the engine for the Knicks right now. So it was cool though. I wasn't there to see Curry set the record last game, but I witnessed him getting his 25,000th point. I saw Kerr tonight, get the all-time coach record for the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors are back to being honestly the Warriors that people, the Warrior fans remember, right? And the rest of the league doesn't want to see. But it is what it is, and everybody's getting asked that now about what makes the Warriors so good now, because I think the Warriors are back to being the Warriors that people want to see.
Agreed. Yes.
And that's my real big takeaway is that when I first started doing the podcast with you, this team was like, man, this team was really hitting the skids, and now all of a sudden you look at their record, and they are now 39-28. So they are, what is that? Is that 9 games over 500? Is that right?
The Warriors are now 11 games over 500.
Yeah, that's how good my math is. 11 games over 500. It's amazing. They're playing so much better now. I mean, it's just, I didn't think Butler was going to make the difference he has, but he has, and he's been such a breath of fresh air. He loves picking on his teammates. You saw that video the other night, right, where he was picking on Buddy Hield?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. He starts giving people crap left and right. It's so much fun. I mean, I think he's understanding now what a fun team the Warriors are to play on, which is why it's so interesting. I'll never forget when Curry was coming into his own, and Monte Ellis kept complaining that he couldn't play with Steph. Of course, that's when Steph was a rookie just coming into the league, right? But I think it's true. I mean, the only way you could ever get kicked out of this team is if Curry doesn't like you, and that's hard to do. I'm sure that somebody doesn't like Steph Curry, but I can't picture it. I mean, the guy is just so beloved by so many. I mean, Warrior broadcast. I don't go on the road other than going to Sacramento, but I tell you, a lot of times I hear Tim Roy and Tom Tolbert on occasion mention how great the Warrior fans are on the road, and they get a certain just the vibe they get. Not that Chase Center is bad, but I think in a lot of places the Warriors are actually getting more attention when they are away from home.
It's insane. It's one of the many reasons why I look at Steph as the Jordan successor or the Kobe Bryant successor, where he's got that star power, man. Where anywhere he goes, he draws the crowds. It's insane. It's incredible.
But it's interesting, like what was mentioned earlier about the Space Jam too. He does have the star power, but he still doesn't quite if you had a poster of NBA stars, would he make that poster necessarily? I guess he would, but how big would he be on that poster? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. By the way, MJ in the chat, going back to the Kevon Looney's his lone bucket, bringing up that Looney had 13 pump fakes before he finally went, and he did. He kept doing this, and it was awesome. It was one of the great. It was for a 2-point night. It was a beautiful bucket. But going back to what you're saying about the Warriors, yeah, dude, they're back. They're must-watch TV again. There was a moment where this felt like a job. Before the Jimmy Butler trade, this felt like work. Watching the games, it was not fun to watch that product, dude. And
I remember. You remember how far back I go? I remember when the Warriors just absolutely sucked with a capital S. I mean, they were just so bad. In fact, he's not here anymore. But Henrik Mung used to be the Warriors producer before R.C. Davis. And I used to sit on press row with some colleagues, including, I guess I'll mention Joe Salvatore. We would sit there and we'd have a laugh fest because we see the Warriors make so many mistakes play after play and just laugh our butts off because they suck so badly that you went to the Warrior game for like comic relief. It was like watching the Keystone Cops. And the Warriors have changed so much that even in this stretch before they got Butler where they struggled, it was never that bad, right? The Warriors were just playing mediocre basketball, which is probably even worse, right? When you're just playing average basketball, when you don't even suck badly, you're just kind of there. You know, that's where the Warriors were, right? They were just there.
Yeah. And now they're contenders, my friend.
And hopefully you're going to come back and come to another game, man. You should come back.
I will. We'll make that happen soon. Kev F at Golden Dazer, by the way, bringing up. Did you see Doris Burke tonight?
I did not. I was too busy. She's way down there on the floor. In fact, I can sort of point here, give you an idea where I am compared to where they are. So let me see my finger. So if you see where I'm pointing right now, that's where they are in that part of the center court. So
there you go.
Yeah, she's down there in the in the high rent district, and I'm up here. I'm not up on the roof. Obviously.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Bob Fitzgerald and Kalena Zabuki have the same seats as you do. So
not quite. They're over. So they're over there. So let's give a tour here real quick.
Same level. They're in the same.
You see here. You see that little gray this gray area right here. That's where Kalena. That's where all the broadcasters sit. The
same altitude, brother. Same altitude as you.
They're a little lower, but you're right. The point being that nobody's on the floor anymore except for the main TV.
In San Francisco, but you go to some other arenas and they do still get the love.
If they don't get the first row, they get the second row, right? So like in Sacramento, for instance, the broadcasters there are I think right behind the stats crew. So,
but Lacob and Goober, it's funny. They saw where Fitz and Kalena were sitting, and they were like, "You two are stealing $250,000 from us just where you're sitting."
Well, yeah, I mean, they did the same. Here's what they did. So before they left Oracle, so Tim Roy used to be on the floor too. And
yeah, right. Him. Yeah, well, radio.
So they moved him. They moved TV. I'm sorry, TV. They moved radio for both up to the main area of the back of the main concourse, and they kept TV on the floor. And now, as I mentioned, everybody's off the floor unless you're ESPN or ABC or TNT. That's it. So hey, that's kind of cool, right? If nobody's been here, there's your little tour, right? So you can see. And again, like I'm actually here. This is not a backdrop. So. So the corner one right there, we see the lettering. That's where. So Warriors radio and Warriors TV are right next to each other. Then it's the visiting TV, and then the final booth in the corner here, the closest one there, where my finger is a visiting radio, and the stats crew is in there too.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And before we go, Ryan, I felt like the Warriors crowd tonight was the loudest, most engaged this season. Like I haven't heard a Warriors chant like that since. I don't know when. I really don't know when, man. It's been a while. Did you feel it? Were you feeling the crowd tonight?
I was. I don't know if I'd still say it was the loudest, but it was. You know what? It never hurts though when you have a marquee team like the Knicks in town. Anytime you play a big market team, I mean, anytime you play a New York team, let's be honest, you're gonna get the crowd. So yeah, I would say so. I would say it's definitely one of the loudest crowds this year for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was as loud. All I'm saying is this season. Yeah, I haven't heard the crowd a lot. And tonight we were hearing the Warriors chants, like they were engaged, they were in it. I'm not saying overall in the history or anything, but tonight
I know what you mean. I got you.
Tonight they're loud. All right, brother. Thank you as always, man. Sure. People can follow you on Twitter at Ryan Leong. Super easy. It's just your name. You work for Bay Area Sports Rap, NBC News Radio, among many organizations. Tell Joe Salvatore say hello, by the way. Him and I used to work together at KCBS. Is he working right now? Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's doing some. I mean, as far as I understand, I've kind of lost touch with him, but he does traffic reports. So he's working with Metro, which is part of the company that NBC News Radio.
So Metro's still around after all these years.
Still around. They're actually owned by I guess it's Clear Channel. Yeah, but they're iHeart Radio. So yeah, he's still around. Yep. So,
interesting. Well, say hello for me, and thanks, brother. Thanks as always, and we'll see you Monday night, dude. Warriors Nuggets.
Are you still
St. Patty's Day.
Scoreboard, right? I'll wear green, by the way. You're still gonna do a scoreboard, right?
Yes.
So I'll see you then. I'll wear some green on Monday.
Sounds good. We'll see you Monday, brother. Thank you. Right. That is Ryan Leong again of Bay Area Sports Rap of NBC News Radio. He joins us following Warriors action when the team is at home. Can't thank him enough for joining us from Chase Center. And it is time to play the tunes. We're in the club. It's Saturday night. Adds a little oomph to it, at least for me. And let's see what happened in the NBA tonight. I don't think it was a super busy docket. Could be mistaken on that. Let's see how many games were played in the association. 8 games total. So we got 7 scores for you. and then we're going to wrap it up with the standings to see where the Warriors are. What I can tell you right now with the standings, the Lakers are in huge trouble. I think it is a safe bet that the Warriors will surpass the Lakers by the time the season's over. And 4-5, maybe even 3 is very attainable, like very reachable. I'm not exaggerating saying that. So, yeah. Elsewhere in the association tonight, we mentioned this before. We'll mention it again because they're the next Warriors opponent. And I'm still in shock over the fact that the Denver Nuggets lost at home to the Washington Wizards, a team that since they traded for Marcus Smart are looking a little competent. A team that with Alex Sarr, who was the number 2 pick in the draft last year, he's going to be something. I really like that guy. He had 34 points tonight, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. But I don't care who's on the Wizards. You lose at home to the Wizards, the respect level that at least I'm going to have for you is going to diminish considerably. And yeah, the Nuggets lost at home to the Washington Wizards, 126-123 the final. Someone else, I forgot who it was, mentioned that Jordan Poole hit a game winner to seal it for Washington. So that is the next Warriors opponent. Denver is coming into town Monday night. Nikola Jokic, 40 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists in the loss. The Nuggets dropped to 43-25. Washington improves to 15-51. Yeah, that's right. The San Antonio Spurs, 119-115 winners tonight over the New Orleans Pelicans. Keldon Johnson, 19 points, 3 steals in the win for the Spurs, who improved to 28-38. The New Orleans Pelicans dropping to 18-50 after losing tonight. CJ McCollum, 26.7 rebounds, 9 assists. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my zoom here so I'm having a hard time seeing what's on my screen. All right, we continue on. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Indiana Pacers tonight, 126-119. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists in the win. Tyrese Halliburton, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 15 assists in the loss. Milwaukee improves to 38-28. The Pacers dropped to 37-29. 4 more games. This one sucks. The Memphis Grizzlies winners tonight over the flailing Miami Heat. Memphis won 125-91. The Grizzlies improved to 43-25. Same record as the Nuggets, I believe. And the Heat dropped to 29-38. Andrew Wiggins in the game played 22 minutes, had 8 points. I still see people like out there who say they miss him. Why? Do you see Miami winning games because of him? No. And I am seeing a lot of games like tonight. 8 points, no rebounds, 0 rebounds. 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, and a -20 in net rating. He was 1 of 5 shooting from 3. Ooh, 8 points for Andrew Wiggins. Strictly Christo in the chat saying that the headline on ESPN's front page is Draymond Green saying night night. He was doing that. There was still some time on the clock when he did. I guess that's not really anything noteworthy, but it was just the rivalry tonight between him and Karl Anthony-Towns. That made for some entertaining basketball, folks. No doubt about that. But unfortunately, the Memphis Grizzlies won tonight, so the Warriors don't gain ground there. Another team that frustratingly won, the Houston Rockets, 117-114 winners tonight over the Chicago Bulls at home. The Rockets improved to 43-25. Chicago drops to 28-39. Alperen Şengün, 24 points, 15 rebounds on the win. Tyus Jones, 19 points, 6 assists in the loss for the Bulls. Tyus Jones, is that right? Trey Jones, I apologize, with 19 points and 6 assists. OKC 113-107 winners tonight over the Detroit what? Pistons 113-107 again. OKC improving to 55-12. Detroit dropping to 37-31. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 48 points, 6 assists, 3 steals in the win. Dennis Schroeder listed by ESPN as a top performer for the Pistons tonight, 17 points, 11 assists. I'm getting really tired of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's flopping, though. It's absurd. I feel like they're like the infamous Twitter account NBA Centel posted a clip of him flopping yet again tonight. It's absurd, man. Don't be another James Harden. Do not be Trae Young. Earn your points legitimately, dude. Not that gimmicky bullshit with your head flops and your flailing and absurd. You will certainly not get respect from me doing that shit. That ain't basketball. Anything that you cannot pull off on the playground, you should not be able to pull off in an NBA game. Like, everything he does would never fly on a playground. People would laugh and scoff and ridicule that pathetic bullshit. Just stop flopping, man. It denigrates the game. I hate it. And last but not least, the Boston Celtics 115-113 winners tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. Boston improving to 49-19. Brooklyn dropping to 23-45. Peyton Pritchard 22 points, 6 rebounds in the win. Cam Johnson 23 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. And that leads now to the standings. Show my screen so we could all enjoy this together. So the Warriors, obviously, nothing's changed in terms of the standings, but when they win and other teams don't play, the Warriors are still gaining a half game just by winning. So, and here's some fantastic news. It wasn't that long ago that the Warriors were trying to get out of the play-in situation and get into the top 6 where you're guaranteed a playoff spot. The Warriors are the 6th seed right now. They've won 7 in a row. The Minnesota Timberwolves have also won 7 in a row. The Warriors own the tiebreak, thankfully, over Minnesota. But more importantly, the Warriors gained on the LA Lakers. So Golden State is 39-28 right now. Minnesota is 39-29. We'll start from below. The LA Clippers are 37-30. They're 2 games back of the Golden State Warriors. Sacramento Kings are 33-33. They are 5.5 games back of the Warriors. So the 9 seed is a good, safe distance away to no longer really worry about that. The Dallas Mavericks, side note, I don't know if you heard this today. I also posted this on social media. They might forfeit a game this year. And they're looking at March 24th, I believe, as the date for that. Let me see what their schedule is real fast, just to confirm that. Which is remarkable because on March 24th, they play at Brooklyn. And the reason why March 24th is the date that we're circling is because a bunch of their two-way players, their eligibility is going to expire. Two-way players can only play 50 games in a season. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat for the first time in a little while. And Rafael Luna, yeah, I'll show your comment because it's that funny. I won't articulate it though, but yeah, I'm so relieved that Andrew Wiggins is not on this team anymore. Oh my God, That was miserable, and so many of you just wanted him to stay. I never understood that. Anyways, funny stuff, Raphael. So going back to the standings, and for a split second here, we're talking about the Mavericks. Excuse me, because on March 24th, because of all the injuries that they've suffered, and because their two-way players are reaching their eligibility maximums of 50 games, and because they've gone past the date where they can swap out the two-way players for other two-way players, they can't do that anymore. So on March 24th, there is a very distinct possibility that the Dallas Mavericks will not be able to play 7 players, which I believe is the minimum. I can't remember if it's 7 or 8, but I think 7 is the minimum for an NBA team. You have to have 7 people in uniform ready to go. Otherwise, you forfeit. MJ's asking, like, has that ever happened before? Not to my knowledge. I mean, I mean, if someone wants to Google that real fast, let me know. It could. I don't know. I think it might be the first time ever. I'm actually going to Google it myself real fast. Okay, so NBA rules require an NBA team to dress at least 8 healthy players, which makes it even worse for Dallas. I mean, at least from my research, no, there is no history of that. And but I'm not stating that as a fact because I don't know for certain, but I have no memory of there ever being a forfeiture. I've never heard of it. At least from an initial search while I'm hosting a live show. Take that for what you will. I couldn't see any history of NBA forfeitures yet. It seems like the only way the Mavericks are going to be able to avoid this really bleak situation, a forfeiture. And Bobby Marks actually, he uploaded a video onto his Twitter account, and I think it's on YouTube as well. And he did this recording from a hotel room. He looks like half awake, and he did this recording largely because of how newsworthy this story is. And he laid down all the scenarios, and it seems like the only way the Mavericks can avoid forfeiting a game on March 24th. And they're not going to be able to add any players to 10-way deals until I think early April, because they're only about $50,000 below the first apron and they're hard capped. And this is how serious the hard cap is, that you can't go over it no matter what, even in a situation like this. So my understanding is the only way they're going to be able to avoid it is to suit up injured players, knowing they're not going to play. But then that raises a whole other plethora of issues, including if they're injured, you're not legally supposed to play them. I mean, the rules are pretty straightforward about that, where if a player is listed on an injury report, that's supposed to reflect reality. So I don't know what they're going to do. And Abraham De Leon bringing up Klay Thompson because he's there. It's insane. It is lunacy. Anyways, I thought that was fascinating. So going back to the standings here, Dallas is currently the 10 seed, but the Phoenix Suns are creeping up behind them. So Dallas at 33 and 35, Phoenix at 31 and 36, a game and a half behind the Dallas Mavericks. My strong guess is Phoenix will overcome the Mavericks and finish as the 10th seed in the West. And then you'll have Sacramento and Phoenix playing in the play-in. The loser of that game eliminated altogether. The winner of that game, if the season ended today, would play the loser of Minnesota and the Clippers. The winner of that game would be the 7th seed. The winner of the Minnesota Clippers loser versus the Kings Suns winner would get the 8th seed, if any of that made sense. So the Warriors are currently 6. And when you look above, they trail the LA Lakers by just 2 games. Just 2. LA has the most difficult remaining schedule in the NBA. The Lakers have lost 4 in a row. So as of right now, it's looking really good for the Golden State Warriors in terms of leapfrogging the Lakers and getting at least the 5 seed. The Memphis Grizzlies are currently the 4 seed with a 43-25 record. They are a game and a half ahead of the Lakers, 3.5 ahead of the Warriors, and then the Nuggets and the Rockets. All 3 of those teams, Houston, Denver, and Memphis, they are all tied with 43-25 records. The Warriors are 3 games behind all 3 of them in the loss column. Technically, they're 3.5 games back because they played 1 less game. So when you're looking at the standings, I think that ultimately what the message here is this. The Warriors can easily, I use the word easily, I mean this. The Golden State Warriors can easily get the 2 seed. I'm not joking when I say that. And MJ, you're absolutely right. If it ends up being a 4-5 matchup against the Grizzlies, against the Rockets, me personally, I'd like to avoid LA in the first round. Bob Fitzgerald, the play-by-play voice of the Golden State Warriors on TV, made a very astute point the other day, and I think in a radio interview, when he said that he does not want to see the Lakers in the first round because of the officiating. His fear is you're facing a Lakers team that has not 1, but 2 free throw merchants in LeBron James and Luka Doncic. 2 players who are gimmick masters, flopping aficionados. Those dudes convince refs to blow the whistle on every damn little thing, and he doesn't want the Warriors to face that. I don't blame him. He's right. Yeah, B do have 2012 is asking me, why am I saying that the Warriors can easily get the 2 seed? Because they're 3 games back of the 2 seed. That's why. And the team the team who is currently the 2 seed right now are the Houston Rockets, a team that the Golden State Warriors have the tiebreak over, and who have the clear mental advantage over. I mean, it's so that's why I say that. The 3 seed right now, the Denver Nuggets. We're about to find out what that's all about on Monday. Matt on. Then the Memphis Grizzlies are the 4 seed, the Lakers are the 5 seed, and the Golden State Warriors are the 6 seed. That's your top 6. And again, the Warriors are literally 3 games back of the 2 seed in the loss column. And B do have 2012 adding that the Warriors have to jump 4 teams to do that. Well, 2 months ago, I don't know, it might be just 6 weeks ago, the Warriors were 11th. So they've already leapfrogged 5 teams to get to 6. It's not in the realm of impossibility. And the Warriors have a very easy schedule for the rest of the year. I think they have the 3rd easiest schedule in the Western Conference. In the overall NBA, correct me if I'm wrong on this, anyone in the chat, but at least a week or so ago when I saw this, I think they had the 8th easiest schedule in the NBA, 3rd easiest schedule in the West. So, and Julian Bashir brings up a great point that the Warriors have 2 games remaining against Denver. They still play the Rockets one more time. They play the Grizzlies one more time. They play the Lakers one more time. So you win those games and you're gaining ground very easily. And these teams are playing a lot of difficult matchups, oftentimes against each other. Yeah, and Rafael Luna and Abraham De Leon both bringing up Minnesota right behind the Warriors. Yeah, they're fast on the tail. What my guess is when all this shakes out is the Lakers will be a play-in team because their strength of schedule is very difficult, and I don't know when LeBron's coming back. So you're looking at a scenario where the Lakers will probably drop out of the top 6. Memphis is so unpredictable. I have no idea what to expect from them. But look, if again, this is just an opinion. So if you disagree, I'm not going to sit here and fight you about that. But you look at the Memphis Grizzlies and you look at the Houston Rockets, and from my perspective, it is a safe thing to say that the Warriors are better, that the Nuggets are better, that the Thunder are better. There is a class system in place in the Western Conference, is what I'm trying to say. And in the first class, you have OKC, you have the Nuggets, you have the Warriors, and you may have the Lakers. And then you might have Minnesota as well. Just because Anthony Edwards is that damn good. And with Julius Randle back, for whatever reason, it's starting to work now. And then in that second class is where Houston, Memphis, maybe the Clippers. It'll be interesting. Bruce Morrow saying that LeBron was moving well at his son's game. I know I saw that too, which is it's ridiculous. I mean, the guy claims he has a groin injury. He's out. He does this a lot of the time in March. Some accusing him of intentionally resting for the postseason. I did see that clip though too as well, where he was jumping up and down. So that's it. Have a great Saturday night. Great win for the Golden State Warriors. Again, final score 97-94. Key takeaway from this game. The Warriors were in a situation where this was how the playoffs are going to go. Playoff games are like this. Defensive slogs, where every possession counts. And this had the feel of that. And the Warriors passed. It was a good test, but Monday's the big one. St. Patty's Day. Nuggles. Warriors. Chase Center. Sign me up. And as Patrick Singh says best to wrap up tonight's show, night, night, baby. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It's Saturday. Have fun out there. Boom.